We welcome you to the Geico ESPN High School Football Showcase, presented by Axe. The rainbow out tonight, just off the Gulf of Mexico in western Florida. It's Venice against St. Francis, with stars all over the place here in the fertile ground of recruiting that is Florida. We're so glad you're with us with Craig Hobart, Connor Onion, and we've got Dana Boyle down to the field. We'll hear from her here in just a few minutes. We've got Power 5 guys all over the field on both ends of this game tonight. What stands out most about this one?
Well, this is the future of college football, and this game truly will show that because we have multiple ESPN 300, ESPN Junior 300 prospects. We're going to see a lot of playmakers that will be at the next level on this field tonight. I've
got a feeling big words are coming from you about the next guy that we're going to talk about. Michael Van Buren, the quarterback for St. Francis. He's got a chance to be the #1 quarterback in the country.
The more that I evaluate Michael Van Buren, Connor, the more I'm convinced he is a 5-star talent and potentially the #1 overall player in the 2024 class. He is a signal caller with a smooth release, good athleticism to be able to create second opportunities, and it's the way he carries himself. He's a leader. He has what his head coach calls that it factor.
He's our player spotlight presented by Axe. As for the guys that are chasing around the quarterbacks tonight, they're really good too. Dashawn Womack for St. Francis is headed to LSU. Damon Wilson for Venice. He'll be a Power 5 guy soon.
They say games are won and lost up front. These are two young men who can certainly impact a game at any point. The more that I watch him, the more that I see similarities, and it all starts with the get-off, the ability to fire off the football and get to the quarterback, as we see there with Womack. And Damon Wilson, he's going to get off the ball before the left tackle even gets out of his stance. That ability to get moving so quickly is so dangerous. And leverage, the ability to bend. You see there coming off the ball, taking on the puller, making the play in the backfield. And here by Damon Wilson out of Venice, you see the ability to stretch the ball out to the edge, make the play against the run. And then finally, one of the other key aspects is power, not just speed, but the ability to turn that speed into power, push blockers back, collapse the pocket. We saw it there with Womack. Wilson can certainly do the same thing, push any offensive lineman back and create havoc.
So those are the guys up front tonight. Damon Wilson, Dashawn Womack. Of course, Florida is known as a recruiting state. It has been for a long time. We're also going to get deep into the weeds about some of the best players in the DMV. We've already talked about Michael Van Buren. You've got a Heisman comparison, a recent guy that won the Heisman to compare the quarterback to. And we'll also hear from Sam Green, a defensive lineman for St. Francis, live at halftime with Dana Boyle on his commitment. Well, Durrell Robinson, the running back for St. Francis, he committed yesterday, announced it on Twitter. He's down in the field with Dana Boyle right now.
Thanks, Connor. Durrell, first of all, congratulations on your commitment to Boston College. What was it about Jeff Hafley and his staff that made that feel like the right fit for you?
Really, the ability to play as a true freshman. You know, I always wanted to be a star, and I feel like I'm a boss. I could really do that.
So you wanted to commit yesterday on a Wednesday. What was the significance of that and not today?
So my teammate Sam Green, he's actually committing today. And we was going to do a duel, but, like, he deserved to do it on his own. Wanted to have his own little special moment, so I had to do mine the day before and let him get his shot today.
That works. We'll look forward to hear from him at halftime. Thanks for the time.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Dana. Thanks, Durrell. And selfless guy, Durrell Robinson, at Boston College.
There's this is what you call a good teammate commitment. And we hear it so much, Connor, why he committed to Boston College. A lot of these players, they don't want to wait. They want to get on the field. He said it was important for him to be able to play as a true freshman. Sometimes I don't think it's the worst thing to get into college in red shirt, maybe learn a little bit. But listen, as we're seeing it, more and more true freshmen are having an impact in college football. And that is certainly something that Durrell Robinson's hoping to do once he gets to Boston College.
Well, Robinson will be on the field. Second, off we go from Venice, Florida, with a short kickoff to the 40-yard line. And St. Francis rallies up to that 35 with the backtracking up back, fielding it for Venice. So for the first time tonight, Brooks Bentley, the likable first-year quarterback transferring in, takes the field.
Yeah, this is a young man with a lot of tools. He comes from a football family. His father, Bobby Bentley, longtime college coach, currently at South Florida. His older brother, Jake Bentley, was an ESPN 300 prospect a few years ago. So he's grown up in the game. He has that football IQ, good arm strength, could be really accurate. The problem with this offense early on this year, he's only had one returning starter at the receiver position, so his completion percentage is a little low as he's kind of waiting for this group to get experience and grow with him.
Keon Sears is that one returning wide receiver. He's in the slot. And a trick play to Sears. Over the top. He's wide open, but can't make the grab. A stride ahead of him. Elliott Washington in on offense, had the throw incomplete on a potential big play.
Listen, beautifully dialed up, a great call against a very talented, aggressive defense. You see the secondary racing up. They're able to sneak the receiver, number one. We just talked about Sears behind him, but overthrew him, missed the opportunity to come out and make a statement on the first play.
So they give it to their four-star cornerback who's playing on offense, and we got a flag on the second down play.
Prior to the snap, encroachment on the defense, 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
Okay, so move him up 5 yards. That's on Sam Green, who we told you will commit at halftime live with us. But Elliott Washington, we were told that he was going to get 5 to 10 offensive snaps tonight. Didn't know he was going to come out with a loud start like that. So Bentley to throw for the first time, and he goes underneath to Alvin Johnson, who slips. And he loses a couple on that play. So getting the full complement of backs in the lineup this week. Venice scored just 12 points last week and won, but didn't have either of their backs.
Well, they're going to have to try to distribute the football, get everybody involved, try to spread out that St. Francis defense. And we saw it there with the trick play on the first play. Now the screen, they're going to try to use that St. Francis defense, speed and aggressiveness against them to try to create some plays, because they just got to go one-on-one. It's going to be very difficult.
Well, this is the phase that Venice feels like they've got to hang in if they're going to win this game. They know their defense can play with St. Francis. It'll be stars against stars on that side. Their first third down of the night. Bentley off of the fake, goes underneath to Washington, and on the screen he trudges his way to the 45. He to the 47, so he's 2 yards short, with KP Price coming up to make the tackle. So early decision just outside of midfield for Venice to keep the offense out.
Yeah, we'll see here, obviously, in a situation potentially try to draw them off, or maybe see Bentley pooch it here.
Or go hard count and get a flag for the second time.
Prior to the snap, encroachment defense, 5-yard penalty. That makes it a first down.
Listen, you try to work that aggressiveness against them. At least there, if you don't get it, you move back a few yards, doesn't really hurt your punt, but at least you try to get that encroachment, and they get it, and this new set of downs.
The penalty was on Donovan Dyson, who's committed to UMass, and into a herd of St. Francis defenders on first down for Alvin Johnson. He gets a yard.
Yeah, they do not have any back over 100 yards yet on the season. You mentioned how a week ago in their win versus Naples, that backfield is a little bit depleted, so they haven't had a lot of carries, but it's going to be important tonight for Venice to try to stick with that run game, get it going, to take a little bit of pressure off that young receiver core.
A 12-11 game that was 3-2 at halftime last week. Weird one without both Johnson and Jamaris Wilder, their top two running backs, and Venice's tight end Finn Jones, also out a week ago.
Get a 3-2 game, you almost feel like somebody's got to sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," right?
Or that you're just watching Iowa, South Dakota State. Bentley goes underneath, and he's close to a first down. So he's accurate to begin. That's the book on him, and he loves Ryan Matulovic, who he completes that ball to. 3rd and 1.
Yeah, this is an inexperienced but not an untalented group. Ryan Matulovic, a sophomore, already reports offers from Arkansas State, South Florida, Tennessee. So there's certainly talent there. It's just about gaining all that all-important experience.
I want to go back to your "take me out to the ball game" comment, by the way. Thanks for going baseball on us. You're coming around. Oh, and big-time movement. You had the lineman shifting around the center there.
That was a team divided. The old lineman's ready to go. Nobody.
I think we know who this penalty is going on.
Prior to the snap, encroachment defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
We don't know, but 3rd penalty on this drive for St. Francis, and all coming up front. There's Messay Hailemariam, their head coach, his 11th year, a dynamic personality as the head coach for St. Francis. And he's bringing one of his best teams. They're talking about a national championship this year.
Yeah, talented, but listen, with talent, you also need discipline. And here they're helping this Venice offense move down the field.
A penalty on 4th and 2 and a penalty on 3rd and 1, keeping this drive alive for the quarterback Brooks Bentley and Venice. 1st and 10 from the 35 for this Indians offense. Trips into the boundary, and Bentley pulls it, and he's got space for a first down. down to the 22. And he gets 12 on the first down carry. And the quarterback using his legs.
Well executed here by the quarterback. You're going to see him make the read. He sells it, and then he's able to pull it. You see how the defensive line attacked the running back, created that seam for him, able to work himself upfield. And he'll need to be a part of this rushing attack tonight as well.
The smarts, that's the thing that John Peacock, that coach for Venice, said really stands out about his first-year quarterback.
See that O-line shifting to an unbalanced look.
To Johnson inside, and using that unbalanced formation, running off of it to get the second down and manageable.
Yeah, you know, it serves two purposes. Try to create some favorable numbers, but also, as we've seen tonight, 3 encroachments so far in St. Francis, trying to get all that movement up front, maybe to get St. Francis to jump at times as well.
A lot of times you'll see that from a tight end or maybe a guy out of the slot. Not a lot of times you're seeing the whole right side of the offensive line swing around before the snap. So some misdirection, the penalties leading to a trip inside the red zone for Venice on their opening drive of the night, trying to get points. It's Bentley with Johnson in there with them. And there's that defensive line standing up with Green making the play right up the middle.
Talk about Green making his commitment a little bit later in this game. He's one of these players. I talked about it with Damon Wilson and with Dashawn Womack. What makes them special is their ability to play with leverage. That is something Sam Green does as well. Good lower body flexibility, plays with pad level. He's able to use his hands really well for a high school player. Get off blocks. You see him there being able to swallow up the run.
The way it was described to us, he has been a terror up the middle for the St. Francis defense. A commitment coming at halftime with Dana down in the field. So another third down for Bentley in this offense, and he rolls the pocket and just throws it at the feet of Alvin Johnson, his running back.
And that was well covered there by Dashawn Womack, defensive end, committed to LSU. He saw that they were trying to slip the back at. Number 15 was right there, running in his hip pocket, taking that away. Good awareness by the 4-star defensive end.
Well, remember what St. Francis told us yesterday? They think they're going to intercept a screen in this game. Bentley made the right play on that, throws it into the dirt, setting up a 35-yard field goal drive for Kirill Kotov. So a drive with multiple third down conversions, and Kotov finishes it off with a 35-yard field goal. Big challenge tonight for the Venice offense. Points on their first touch on a 10-play drive.
The 2022 Geico ESPN High School Football Showcase, presented by Axe, is brought to you by Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. And Axe, smell irresistible all day.
That's the Venice Fishing Pier, 700 feet long, about 20 feet wide. Gives you a good look at the Gulf of Mexico. So we're in Western Florida tonight, and the home team, Venice, with a 10-play, 45-yard scoring drive to get a field goal.
And they left 4 points on the field, and they're probably frustrated by that because they had the receiver on that first play, but the offense was able to settle down, move the ball down the field, use that St. Francis aggressiveness against them for a few encroachment calls, and ultimately, most importantly, get some points on the board. A nice opening drive there by Venice, defending 8A state champs in the state of Florida.
For the third time. Won it in 2000, 2017, and 2021. And it was their first year quarterback, Brooks Bentley, who was just pictured there, that let him down on that drive with 3 offsides penalties, keeping it alive. So the hard count working for Bentley. So we'll get a look at his quarterback opponent, Michael Van Buren, for the first time. With Kotov to kick off after his field goal. Humes and Williams back deep to get it for St. Francis, and they will not have a chance. So you said it in the open, Michael Van Buren, the quarterback, he's got a chance to be a 5-star and the best player in the country come his senior year.
Michael Van Buren made his varsity start on the ESPN Geico High School Football Showcase a year ago against De La Salle out in California. If you don't know De La Salle, they're the program that had the 151-game winning streak, one of the most consistent high school programs in the country. He went out there in his first start and beat one of the top high school programs in the country. He's so poised for a young player, good arm strength, accuracy. He is a playmaker who, again, the more I watch, the more excited I am about his potential and future.
He slings it out quickly to his favorite target, Ryan Manning, on the first play of the night on offense for St. Francis. And the Maryland commit is near a first down. He gets 7.
A very promising quarterback with a wealth of tools around him. As we mentioned, his running back just committed to Boston College. He's got a receiver committed to Maryland.
And big offers for the quarterback, Van Buren. Gives it to the future Boston College Eagle. Hit that sideline. He's taken down after a first down. Out toward the 45 for Durrell Robinson.
For Boston College fans, they're like, what are we getting? They're getting a runner who's really decisive. Good vision for a high school back, and he waits. There's some patience, and once he sees a seam, he does a great job getting his foot in the ground and getting upfield.
Also getting a guy that we learned with Dana down in the field is very good to his teammates.
Yes.
Lets them shine, like he will for Sam Green tonight. And they feed the future Boston College back one more time. And he's stacked up by Damon Wilson. So star meeting star there. You got the defensive end for Venice inside the ESPN 300 going up against a high-powered offense.
Yeah, this Venice defense, you got Damon Wilson at defensive end. Elliott Washington, who we've seen a little bit on offense tonight, number 0. He's one of the top defensive backs in the nation, committed to Penn State. This is certainly a defense with a lot of talent as well to be able to counter this St. Francis offense.
Washington lining up at corner, top of your screen here. And a third consecutive run, this time with Van Buren, pointing out blockers across midfield. First down and more, tight roping the sideline, and he's out of bounds. Van Buren with eyes for the end zone there, and a big run on the quarterback keeper out the back door.
A smooth runner here. You're going to see him pull it. He's going to get the edge. A really nice job by number 19. We just talked about on the Maryland commit, Ryan Manning, downfield block. You see him leading the way. He's going to get a nice block as well.
All right, Dana, what's up?
We talked to him yesterday at practice, and we asked him, what's the biggest improvement? He shared the quarterback duties for part of the season in 2021, and he said, it's my confidence.
Nearly a pick there for the confident quarterback for St. Francis. Dalen Platt, the closest to it. And there is a flag down on the play, right back at the line of scrimmage.
We got dead ball foul, personal foul against the 15 yards, second down.
It's already 30 yards of penalties halfway through the first quarter for St. Francis. It'll back them up 2nd and 25 outside of the red zone now.
Been undisciplined here early on.
A 2-0 start for St. Francis. They beat East St. Louis and they beat DeSoto down in Texas. And this time it is dropped. Another near interception. Carter Dalton had it right in his lap, but could not pick it off. You see it on his face. So close.
Yeah, so maybe Dana was just talking about that confidence. Maybe a little bit too much there. You can see Durrell Robinson right there underneath. That's who we should have dropped it off to. Try to take it to that next level. Threw it right to a defender's chest. Lucky that was not an interception. Should have just took the underneath check down.
And Damon Wilson had the hit on Van Buren. He's letting that St. Francis sideline know he's here. So penalty, 2 near picks. Hasn't gone well since that 38-yard run for Van Buren. They go misdirection on 3rd and forever. Durrell Robinson shakes out of a couple of tackles to the sideline, and he's toward the sticks and has the first down. Actually, that's the initial line of scrimmage. Just kidding. 4th and 8.
Yeah. It was such a long run, right? You assumed it was a first, but only get back a little bit past the original line of scrimmage. But we saw there the great feet. There, that should not have gone for any type of gain, and he was able to make a few defenders miss.
Good run, not that good of a run. But the offense will stay out on 4th down and 8 with the Venice crowd coming to life. Van Buren, pressure in his face, and he goes down. Damon Wilson the first there. He's with Jack Huber on the sack.
One of the most sought-after defensive ends in the nation, uncommitted ESPN 300 defender Damon Wilson early on, turning on the heat, getting a turnover on downs and the ball back to his offense. Damon Wilson, ESPN 300 defensive end, just coming off the ball. The beautiful inside move to get immediate pressure on the quarterback along with his teammate, number 18, Jack Huber. But listen, Damon Wilson, one of the top defensive end prospects in the nation, uncommitted still. Took recent official visits to Alabama, Ohio State, Miami, Texas, Georgia, also in the mix. So a lot of fan base is really interested in where he may go. And Dashawn Womack, we've seen him making some plays early on as well, a commit to LSU.
Well, they could be rivals, the two guys that we're seeing tonight in the SEC. You mentioned the Georgia and Alabama officials for the Venice defensive end, Damon Wilson. Really turned into a different player in the playoffs last year. In practice, he doesn't want to hurt his friends. That's what the staff for Venice said, coming out of Pop Warner. Didn't want to hurt his friends, didn't want to show anybody up, but in the playoffs, he led them to the state championship with a little meanness.
Yeah, long, athletic, but they said, yeah, something clicked a little bit last year where he kind of took it to the next level, and that's not good for opposing offenses. But Womack, number 15, now on the field. As we showed there in the open, Connor, a lot of similarities between those two, and that's why they're both amongst the top 6 defensive ends in the nation.
He's bottom of the screen down underneath there in yellow and black. You want to watch 11 in white on defense and 15 in yellow on defense tonight. Quick hit out for Bentley, and he gets it complete to Keon Sears. I'm sorry, Matulovic, and he's set it up for third down and manageable. Let's send it down to Dana.
Peacock's got to be pretty happy about that defense, that sack on the last play. If you're Venice, that's their identity. When we asked him about this matchup between St. Francis, he said, we've got to rely on our athletes to make plays. He said, I think our defense, if we can hang in the paint with them, we can do a pretty good job. But that first pass on the offense for Venice looked pretty good.
Yeah, that was said a lot during our meeting with Venice this week. Hang in the paint on defense after they allowed just 11 points last week. I want to take some air out of the ball on offense.
That was a great, listen, they missed that first opportunity on the first play, but a 10-play drive, a little under 6 minutes. They'd love to eat up clock, keep that St. Francis offense off the field.
So Venice and John Peacock with a 3-0 lead. Head coach for Venice, John Peacock, 3-time state champion as the head coach over 2 decades, and pretty happy with what happened with his alma mater last week, Georgia Southern, where he played. They beat Nebraska, you might have heard, and that sent the coaching carousel into early turmoil. And Peacock looking on at that. St. Francis has a couple of guys that went to Georgia Southern too. So you got 3rd down and 4. And you got the big defensive end, Womack, standing up bottom of your screen. After Brooks Bentley, the quarterback for Venice, let him down for 10-play field goal drive last time. He gets it out to Matulovic again, and he's across the 40 for a first down.
And Matulovic only a sophomore, but last year as a freshman, over 40 catches, nearly 600 yards, 8 touchdowns, doing a nice job of knowing where he needed to get to move the chains. Instead of a young player, already reporting a few offers.
He is the obvious top target already for Bentley. Quick chemistry for those two guys. And Bentley was in Florida last year. His dad is the passing game coordinator at the University of South Florida. After a long time in the state of South Carolina. So his 2nd year in this state, comes here for his final year of high school football and quarterbacking Venice. He's got the design quarterback run, and he's wrestled down by Carlton Smith, flying up from linebacker on that first down play.
Yeah, well read by number 42. Quickly gets upfield, just knifes through the gap. It's a good linebacker core. Simeon Coleman, number 44, their inside linebacker. Cameron Howard, committed to Kent State, also in that crew.
You know a guy's done a lot of hitting when some of the paint is chipped off his helmet, like Carlton Smith has. See some red underneath the black. Well, off of the play fake, over to Johnson, and he's clipped down. Out there in that boundary, it's Kevin Humes, that cornerback, one of the guys that they like out in space, making the play.
Yeah, they have 2 very talented sophomores in that secondary, and Blake Woodby and Kevin Humes, and a nice job. Kevin Humes getting off the block, coming up, making that tackle, setting up this 3rd and long. Obviously for Venice, had a nice opening drive. They want to try to stay ahead the chains. This puts him in a tough situation. Obviously, you know, somebody like Dashawn Womack's going to be pinning his ears back.
Well, this has been a 4-minute offense type tempo for Venice to start this game. Letting the play clock wind down again. And with a minute to go, the snap off on 3rd and 9. Bentley gives grounds and throws it away.
Number 9, Isaiah Neal, did an outstanding job. The pit commit. They wanted to go back to that screen. He saw it. He peeled off at the back, took that away. Eventually just made Bentley have to throw it away. So they know that they're trying to work that screen game tonight, doing a nice job up there on that play of reading it, taking it away.
So the offense out again. They kept the offense out pretty much in the same spot. Now they're not going to. Now the punt unit does hustle on. And St. Francis trying to get a return guy back and get somebody off the field. And the punt is away with Humes back there all by himself. And we'll see where it gets marked. Marching it up toward the 30. And St. Francis, with all that movement, will get it back with good field position. Well, hey, SEC teams highlight the ESPN college football lineup this Saturday, including the number 1 team in the nation, Georgia, starting the day against South Carolina, noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. Then Brian Kelly and LSU host Mississippi State, 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. And the 12th man, can they get a little revenge after the loss to App State last week? Big one, top 25. Mario Cristobal coaching Miami in a top 25 game. 13th ranked Hurricanes, 24th ranked Aggies, 9 Eastern. Coming up on Saturday. So Michael Van Buren, 3rd ranked quarterback in his class, the junior, hands it off to Ryan Manning, and he's lassoed down by Wilson, also a top player in the country. Gets him after a gain of 2.
And may want to try to run those plays to the opposite side of Wilson. Talked about right in the open his ability to take on blocks, set the edge.
And that's what everybody else has done. That's why Tyler Lewis has had a big responsibility at the opposite end this year. And running away from Wilson this time, and space for St. Francis.
And now now he ran for a first down.
Thank you. I knew that was going to come back on me.
I wasn't going to let that go.
Just happy you got a baseball drop in here in the first quarter today. But I knew after that there would be a shot right at me. But yes, definitively a first down for Durrell Robinson after his fake first down in the red zone. And he gets a breather with DeJuan Williams into the game. But the first quarter is over. So flip him around just inside midfield for St. Francis with Venice's defense trying to hold him, making this a short game using a lot of clock. Damon Wilson getting home for a sack in the first quarter. ESPN High School Football Showcase presented by Axe. Connor Onion, Craig Haubert, Dana Boyle down on our field after a first quarter dominated by Venice in time of possession. They held it for almost 80% of that quarter.
Yeah, that first quarter outside, listen, they had a chance at 7 on the very first play. Rolled the dice, trick play, they had it, overthrew it, but ultimately the first quarter has kind of gone how they wanted. They've controlled the game. They've used some of St. Francis' aggressiveness against them. And also were able to get a turnover on downs, but now trying to stop that offense again.
After a confirmed first down for Durrell Robinson, DeJuan Williams into the game. And he also has a first down. He gets 12 and a new set for St. Francis.
Yeah, DeJuan Williams, a junior 300 back, doing a nice job making that cut. Both hands on the football, lowering the shoulders. A little bit more of that between the tackles runner.
We got a 4-star guy as the backup running back for St. Francis, because he does stuff like that, hitting the edge. Didn't look like much was there, and he gets 5 out of it.
They report in Louisville, Georgia Tech, one of the many players on this team, reporting offers.
He is Williams, who stays in there on second down. He is a one-cut downhill type of guy. Wants to keep it between the hashes and go. Van Buren to the air, quick strike, out to the sideline. And they've got a first down to the flag down. And that's out to Mason Beal. We'll check on the flag, though. They got 8 on 2nd and 4, so it would be a first down, but it was a high penalty first quarter for St. Francis.
Got ineligible downfield, 5-yard penalty, replay 2nd down.
And so wipe off the first down, and St. Francis, they're the only team that's been penalized so far.
St. Francis is turning into the 12th man for Venice, the way they're playing right now.
And that's not a good thing.
No. Oh. That's not like a Seahawk or a Texas A&M.
We just ran the Gig'em promo.
Yeah, you're not supposed to be helping the other team.
That's the ineligible man downfield. Van Buren keeps, and he gets a good block out on the edge, and he's taken down by a strong ankle tackle by Washington, or else he would have had a first down. Good perimeter blocking there for St. Francis.
Yeah, that was number 18, Mason Beal, who would have had that first down conversion had it not been for the penalty. Doing a really, as you mentioned, nice job blocking downfield. You love to see that too from receivers. What do you do when you don't get the football? Are you staying active? Are you working? And he was there to set up this very manageable 3rd down here.
They've only had 1 tonight. It was 3rd down and 25 last drive, and a big gainer on 3rd down for Robinson this time. And he's out of bounds inside the 10 with a fresh set of downs.
He's doing a really nice job of just bouncing those plays outside, showing that explosiveness. He may not be a runner whose top end speed will wow you, but he's got excellent burst.
He shoves down a 4-star guy once he gets to the corner.
Holding on the offense, 10-yard penalty, replay 3rd down.
Okay, there are 13 men on the field for Venice then.
It's like they just, let's get a first down, let's take it away, let's see how many ways we could potentially get a first down and throw it away. And it's got to be just frustrating. Head coach Messay Hailemariam, you see they're talking to the official.
Look at that number, though. It was 6 for 46 already. Less than halfway through the 2nd quarter. Out to Robinson in the passing game, and he is close to the first down mark. Depend on the spot. Right at the sticks. The running back, Durrell Robinson, before Carter Dalton tackled him. Looks like it'll be 4th down in the nose of the football.
I don't know if picking it up will be as much as a struggle as keeping it with the penalty they have got.
So they'll measure it. Maybe get that index card out again. This is going to be really close. So as they measure, Messay Hailemariam looks on, seeing what type of decision he'll have. I think the offense is staying out either way, but
I like that new board, 2 foot.
Yeah, that's. I'm going to blame that for the Durrell Robinson play. Okay, so he is short. Is that 2 feet to you? Is that what the board says?
Yeah, it looks like I don't know if they have a 1.5 feet on that.
Do they have decimals on the new board?
Now we'll see. We've talked about this. If you've been joining us each week here on Geico High School Football Showcase, this is the situation where I love to see a quarterback be able to get under center. When he maybe just be able to push forward for that first down. We'll see how St. Francis treats this under 4th and a little less than 1.
Beware in the press box if they don't. Craig tends to throw things when teams line up in shotgun on 4th down and 1. So we'll be on the shoulders of Michael Van Buren and this offense. If there's a weakness for St. Francis, it's their kicking game. They don't have a solidified kicker. So you'll see him go for it on 4th a lot. They are out of the shotgun. Watch your heads. And they go inside to Robinson. And he's tangled up with the linebacker, Jack Huber, but he does have enough for the first down.
Didn't get much, but got enough. And no yellow on the field, so they get to keep it.
Well, they had converted twice at that down and distance, but it had come back on holding and ineligible man downfield. So right on the edge of the red zone for Michael Van Buren and St. Francis's offense. And a quick hit out to Chase Wilkins. And he bullies his way to the first down sticks. So now it's moving. And check of a flag. There is no flag. It counts. First down.
Chase Wilkins, player reports a Dartmouth offer. Nice job there by Van Buren. So going to that side that Damon Wilson was at. Putting enough air right over his hands. Getting it to his tight end.
But they still can't get another first down. Robinson to the edge, and he's dragged down. They run at Damon Wilson again, and he sets that edge strongly, the ESPN 300 player.
Yeah, they have not fared well early on trying to test Damon Wilson. You see him just popping off the block. Nice job getting low, wrapping up, holding on. See several other of those green helmets there helping him out. Such a well-rounded player. Took an official to Alabama in the spring. Took one to Ohio State for that Notre Dame game.
Good weekend to be up there with LeBron, Joey Burrow. Into the pile of Wilson in that defense again on second down, and DeJuan Williams nowhere to go. And as much as a defensive end can take over a game, Wilson has in this first quarter plus. He's got a sack. The only thing missing is maybe him picking one off or forcing a fumble.
Well, as you mentioned, this is probably a little bit foreign to him. He's not used to teams running towards him. And he's welcomed it, and he's responded. But he's like, hey, I'm usually used to having to chase down plays. This is now the 11th play of the St. Francis drive.
Got two backs in there. Van Buren looking left, and he goes to Williams, who slips through a tackle. Now the ball comes out, and St. Francis back on top of it. It would have been fourth down and a couple. Instead, that's all the way back toward that initial mark. And Tyler Stewart rescues that ball for St. Francis. So it's 3rd and 8, back it up to 4th and 9.
Once again, making things difficult, not by way of penalty this time, but that ball popping loose.
All right, biggest play early in this game. Venice got the field goal on their opening drive. Offense out again for St. Francis on 4th down. And they put it in the hands of Van Buren. Over the top to the end zone for a touchdown. To his tight end, Chase Wilkins. And St. Francis leads.
Talked about some of the poise of the young, talented quarterback. Obviously, they have self-destructed at times on offense, but they're in a 4th down play. Really keeping that composure, finding his tight end right over the middle, putting it right on him.
So Chase Wilkins, who Ryan Burbrink, their offensive coordinator, said that they wanted to get him the ball more, get him in the passing game more. They do in the first half, and he's got the first score for St. Francis. Kadia McDonald on to take the extra point, and he toes it through. So all those weapons at wide receiver for St. Francis, they get it to their tight end this time.
Yeah, it took 12 plays, overcoming a few penalties, a potential fumble, but that offense responds. Michael Van Buren finds his tight end, Chase Wilkins, and they take the lead. Well, I've said Michael Van Buren, I think, is a 5-star talent. He reminds me of the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback at Alabama, Bryce Young. It starts with the release, a smooth, quick release, the ability to get rid of the football even in the face of pressure, that creative mobility to be able to slip blocks there. We see also the toughness from Michael Van Buren delivering, even though he takes a hit in this from a week ago in that win over Texas, buying time, finding a receiver in the end zone, and then that accuracy, that high completion percentage, to be able to put the ball where it's needed to be. We've seen that from Bryce Young so much. The more I watch Michael Van Buren, the more I feel like I'm seeing Bryce Young when he was in high school at Mater Dei.
Well, it's not just you. When he's going on his college visits to big-time programs, those coaches are telling him the same thing. They say Bryce Young or Russell Wilson.
Yeah, it's not just the play. The more time I spend around him, I feel like he carries himself very similar to how Bryce did. There was such a maturity from Bryce Young, even in high school. When you got around him, you're like, wow, this young man is just different. And you feel that a little bit, too, with the way that Michael Van Buren, I talked about it, his first varsity start was against De La Salle on national TV, and he helped lead St. Francis to a win.
Well, he was good that night. When we talked to him yesterday, he said, you're going to see an even better, more confident player than a year ago when he was starting for the first time at varsity. So he leads the touchdown drive, hooking up with Chase Wilkins. We'll hear from him after the kick down in the field with Dana. Another short kick, but it does get over the head of those return backs who are up at the 20. And St. Francis rallies to it. So Venice coming out. St. Francis scored with Michael Van Buren. He's down in the field with Dana.
Greg, you were mentioning his maturity. We talked to him yesterday at practice. He's not only creating off the field in a leadership role, but he's creating on the field. He's having small side groups with his receivers working after practice. And we asked him, how are you handling being just a little bit more famous in Maryland now that you have this starting quarterback role? And they stay in dorms at St. Francis Academy, and he said he walked around to the corner store and a lady recognized him and said, are you Michael Van Buren? And he's very unassuming, very humble, and managing that expectation can be hard for a young high school kid, but he's a great kid. He's humble, and he's doing a good job being a good teammate.
Well, that's when you know locally, he's getting that nationally now too, but locally when you start walking into the corner store and people know your name, you know you're a big deal.
Hey, listen, I've said it before, those who are fans of the sitcom Seinfeld will know that this is the new leader of the Van Buren boys right here.
There it is. George thanks you for that. Architect George Costanza thanks you for that. You didn't throw that out at Van Buren yesterday. You didn't ask that question. That should have been your first question.
Oh, saving the good stuff for air. Yeah, but really talented young man. And so much of being a successful quarterback is not just ability, but it's about leadership as well.
Bentley behind his target. Wanted Matulovic. Would have had the first down. But incomplete, and it's third down for Venice.
And Matulovic doing a really nice job of finding that open space, sitting down. Bentley could be very accurate there, a little bit behind his receiver.
So time of possession way in the favor of Venice in that first quarter. Thanks to a couple penalties, they converted, got the field goal. They're taking a lot of play clock. Snap the ball tonight. And another penalty coming. You got Brandon Thomas, bottom of your screen, jumping across the line.
Prior to snap, encroachment, defense, 5-yard penalty, remains third down.
That was a play. We were at walkthrough yesterday and talking with the coaching staff. They felt that Brandon Thomas, a young man, was going to have a breakout game there, making an impact, but not in the way the coaches had hoped. And a little bit more, some struggles penalty-wise for St. Francis. Now their 7th penalty for 51 yards, and setting up a much more manageable third down here for Venice.
Well, a lot of them up front, too. Group that has 8 future FBS players. So on 3rd and 2, using the legs of Bentley, and he's wrestled down, but after a first down, into the arms of Brian Sims, but the drive carries on thanks to another penalty. So Brooks Bentley, again, new to this school. He transferred in. He had his first couple years in high school in South Carolina. The group of 5 an FCS target right now. Big exposure night for him.
That's the life of the son of a coach, moving around.
Who's got an offer from his dad's school? Got the passing coordinator at South Florida. Bulls just up the road, giving him an offer. And he hands off, and there's Womack. Talked a lot about Wilson on the other side. Womack's the other big-time defensive end, swallowing up that run.
Well, nice job up front with like number 55 as well, Colin Coates, who's committed to UNC Charlotte, knocking his blocker back, getting into backfield, really not allowing a running back to go anywhere. And obviously Womack, he is the counter to Damon Wilson in this game. 2 of the premier defensive ends in this 2023 class.
He almost had a pick on the last drive for Venice. His tackle at the line sets up 2nd and 10 for the LSU commit. And play clock down to 2 again before it snaps, and it's blown dead. And a timeout for Venice before that play clock winds down. So 2nd and 10 at the 35 for Venice in their own territory next. Venice football, they have fans just like the San Francisco Giants. It's their version of McCovey Cove out there.
It's one way to beat traffic. in Florida. The state of Florida is so important in recruiting programs from around the nation come. We're seeing some of the top prospects that are still uncommitted. We talked about Damon Wilson taking an official at Alabama, Ohio State. Cormani McClain, the 5-star corner. And then the Maryland area, you see Nicholas Harbor. He's one of those just physical freaks. He's a big defensive end. It's one of the fastest players in his class. Also one of the premier track athletes. Dylan Gooden, that's the son of Doc Gooden, also a talented edge defender. You see
two fire tonight.
Yeah.
With baseball.
Two players there in the St. Francis Academy program as well. Sam Green, no, not for long. Not for long.
Not for long. Halftime, he'll be with Dana Boyle after a quick touch-up inside the locker room. It'll be third down for Venice. He's going to go into the locker room about 5 minutes, get touched up for TV, make sure the hair's looking nice, and then he'll make his commitment live with us with Dana down in the field. It'll be Sam Green, who is number 8 in yellow. And he's got Penn State, USC, Texas A&M, and Boston College. Those are the 4 fan bases that'll anxiously be looking on here in about 5 minutes.
And one running back who will be anxiously looking on, Durrell Robinson, seeing if he joins him at BC.
Yep. So Green coming on third down and 10, complete to Matulovic, and then he dropped it, had it, and then dropped it, incomplete, fourth down. So Venice will come to the sideline. They've kept the offense out a couple of times on fourth down already today before they hustled the punt unit out last time and actually did kick it. But hey, coming up on Saturday, our featured ESPN Plus college football games. Following that upset of 6th-ranked Texas A&M in Week 1, it's App State hosting Troy, 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. Plus, Bobby Petrino returns to Fayetteville against Arkansas. Number 10 Arkansas. We'll see what kind of reception Coach Petrino gets. Jason Shelley, the quarterback of that Missouri State team. Plus, 8th-ranked Oklahoma State hosts Arkansas Pine Bluff at Boone Pickens Stadium. Both games at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Get to ESPN Plus. Go to ESPNplus.com or download the ESPN app. If you're an Arkansas fan, how do you welcome Bobby Petrino back?
Yeah, probably chanting Coach Pittman.
Nice.
I think they're quite happy with the coach that they got now and the job that he is doing. Our old friend to the high school football package, Jay Alter, on that call before welcomed you aboard.
You sound like there's some regret there.
No, yeah, look, that you saved me from Jay.
So you're going to kick me out, send me to Fayetteville, or what? St. Francis did have somebody back this time as they bring their punter out. They have Farouk back there. And Kotov gets off a big high one that kicks out just shy of the 30. Inside 5 to go until halftime when Sam Green will commit down with Dana on the field. Got a 1-score game.
The number 6th-ranked defensive end in the nation making a case that, hey, maybe that might be too low with the way that he has been playing in the first half. Number 11, Damon Wilson for Venice, has been all over the field and disruptive, doing a nice job of setting the edge, putting pressure on the quarterback. All the things that we talked about in the open that make him special, he has showcased with his play thus far in this game.
Way to give yourself a little pat on the back. Good sell at the top of the show.
Hey, listen, I just talking about what I see on film, and that's why we see it on film, because he's showing it here tonight. Just explosive, powerful. A man who plays with leverage, plays with effort, and he has made his presence known here so far.
Remember, he's got offers from Alabama, Texas, Georgia, Miami, Ohio State. And he's the top 60 player in the country. And St. Francis hasn't been shy running at him, and he's in on another pileup on a short carry. So some confident play calling with Durrell Robinson, and these running backs for St. Francis not afraid to go against one of the best players on defense.
And it's been tough sledding, though, doing it.
Back to the ground again, and this time some space to run. And they've got Durrell Robinson out for a first down near midfield.
He is just so shifty, the way that he moves, his feet. Watch him just kind of getting in there, darting, making quick cuts, finding the open seam. Again, I don't know if he's one of these players who's just going to wow you with his top-end speed, but so quick. Ability to make defenders miss and explosive.
He gets a breather on first down. Van Buren airs it out. It's dropped. Would have had a big gainer. Sage Utsi had the coverage with Kyrie Benton not hauling it in.
Well, like on the move, throws well on the move, and look at that throw, puts it right on him. Actually, such a beautiful throw would have allowed him just to keep on running after the catch. Can't draw it up, can't have it executed any nice, just got to make that catch there.
Well, from guys like Kyrie Benton and Mason Beal, St. Francis needs some more tonight at the wide receiver spot. Makai Workman out with a knee injury. And Van Buren doing it himself with the shakes in the backfield and smoothly out at the 40 for a first down. So you've got big-time players in the DMV that we were talking about. Of course, St. Francis coming from Baltimore. Caleb Williams, who's at USC now. Same quarterback coach growing up. Another guy that can run pretty well.
Yeah, we talked about the comparison to Bryce Young, but also the ability to work around other outstanding quarterbacks. Caleb Williams, who went into college, made a quick impact now at USC. And cool to see that those guys working together.
So first down run for Van Buren. And using the footwork again, but into the hands of Atkins. Colin Atkins, one of the strongest players on that Venice defense, making the play.
That strength there, getting a piece of jersey. Like Michael might get a chance to kind of break free. Eluding one defender, but there, as you mentioned, Atkins doing a nice job of kind of getting his hands on him and bringing him down.
Craig, how much did you bench at your peak?
To be honest, I don't know. Like,
you don't know. All linemen know that.
I'm not a big fan of benching.
Well, he benches 400. Thanks for playing along. Out to Manning on the edge, and he's...
Well, now that I think about it, I think it was 401.
406 ounces. So Manning was pushed out, 3rd down and 2. Good hook. Good hook. Let's see what Damon Wilson has on 3rd and 2. Robinson sheds a tackle at the sticks and whirls his way down to the 25. And another first down for Durrell Robinson. Keep the drive going.
We saw Venice early on kind of put together a long drive, nearly 6 minutes. Now, since then, St. Francis has been able to kind of put together some drives, take some time off the clock.
And Durrell Robinson over halfway to 100 yards tonight. And seeking out space, cutting back, and he's got another big play inside the 5 before he's taken down at the 2 by Utsi.
Giving Boston College fans a lot to be excited about what they just picked up yesterday. See him working to his right, cutting back, doing a nice job of seeing the lane. Said he would support. He felt he could play there as a true freshman, and certainly making a case that he could do that.
Give him 23 on that run. First down and goal. And right back to the backs for a touchdown with Robinson. So Durrell Robinson, who committed yesterday, coming out, having a big first half and giving Boston College fans a reason to smile.
And they put points on the board, and Connor, that was one of their cleaner drives in terms of avoiding penalties, not moving backwards on that drive.
A little trouble with the snap, but another extra point for McDonald's. Hey, Sunday NFL Countdown, they have you covered for Week 2 starting 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. And the Monday Night Countdown crew continues at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. Gets you set for 2 Monday Night Football matchups. First, Derrick Henry and the Titans. Josh Allen and the Bills in Buffalo. Their home opener at 7:15 Eastern, 4:15 Pacific on ESPN. Then Justin Jefferson and the Vikings off that win against the Packers. Get Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. Phillies opener at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific, ABC, ESPN Plus, and ESPN Deportes. A good week in the NFL for first-year head coaches. Minnesota getting a win. Now going on the road against the Eagles before Monday night. So 14 straight for St. Francis after Coach Peacock in Venice got that opening drive field goal.
9 plays, 70 yards, 51 of that coming by way of the Boston College commit Durrell Robinson.
A quick, penalty-free, that's the big key. All those penalty yards and still leading by 11 for St. Francis. A little mist starting to come down. Well, that's been our experience in Southwest Florida the last couple weeks. All those lightning delays last week, Lehigh Acres. And through the mist, McDonald kicks off to the 20 with Elliott Washington. He searches for space along that sideline, and he carries a couple guys with him past the 40. Durrell Robinson, that touchdown for St. Francis. Now Venice back out. Let's go down to Dana.
Thanks, Connor. I don't know about the mist. It's coming down a little hard here. Durrell, you're making Boston College fans happy. What'd you see on that play to get that touchdown?
I seen my line block. Man, as soon as I got the ball, I said touch. I knew it was happy. I got to thank my line for that one. To get us down the field, we had to finish, and we did.
You think we'll see more of that from you tonight?
You see plenty more from me, my line, my quarterback, and receivers. Now we got that one touchdown on the ground. It was a little easier than the other ones. We're in a row now.
Stuff. Good luck.
Thank you.
Dana Boyle, always in the heat of the moment. Remember week 0, she interviewed a receiver from American Heritage, Malachi Tony. He said, I scored a touchdown because he's not better than me. That time Durrell Robinson giving it to his line. Pump for Bentley on first down, and he's running away from trouble and throws it away. Also, thanks to Dana for correcting the weather report too.
Yes.
Not a mist, apparently a heavier rain than it looks like from up here.
I guess when you're out there, it's important on the velocity with which the rain is coming down. It's going to be important here for Venice. Obviously, the goal is going to be able to get points, but they've showed they can eat up some clock. They do not want to give St. Francis another opportunity offensively with the ball in this half.
It's going to be harder for Bentley to throw it now, that harder rain. So they go to the grounds. And good pickup to set up third and manageable with Alvin Johnson. Approaching the 2-minute mark of this second quarter. So Alvin Johnson, he was out last week. Venice was without their top 2 backs, Jamaris Wilder, Alvin Johnson. Also their tight end, Finn Jones. I thought they would get all 3 of those guys back this week. It's been mostly Johnson. And he's back in there on third down. On 3rd and 4, Bentley looking to throw. Nothing there. He gets out, keeps his feet, and dives toward the sticks. But they mark him a yard short. So Venice with 1 timeout, 1.5 minutes to go until halftime. Another 4th down decision.
Yeah, if his initial read's not there, that defense is quickly swarming around him. Really a nice job there by him pulling the football down and still picking up something positive.
It was the ankle tackle of Sam Green and Isaiah Neal that stopped him from getting that first down. And a timeout for St. Francis. So the Panthers may be thinking about getting the ball back, getting some points, if they can get a stop on 4th and 1.
Yeah, here for Ben. Listen, they've been able to get St. Francis to jump a few times. He said you do not want to give that St. Francis offense the ball back in this half, but if you do, you certainly don't want to do it at midfield. So it'll be interesting to see if they maybe try to hard count him, get him to jump again, get him to give him that first down, or maybe pooch it. But I'd be interested to see if they just go for it here again, because if you don't get it, not only you give the football back to St. Francis, now maybe with a little bit of momentum, giving it to him with great field position. And if you're gonna give it back to them, make them work for it. Have to go 90, 95, 85 yards for it. But I think with the way that they've been aggressive and jumped a few times, at least try to draw them off here.
And St. Francis gets the ball coming out of halftime too. So you could talk about a full flip of 14 points if St. Francis gets the ball, short field gets points, and then can march it down and score after halftime.
I'm sure in that huddle, head coach Messay Hailemariam was telling him, do not jump.
Another weird formation, and they direct snap it to the back, and pinballing toward the first down. And that far side mark had him short. Looks like the near side mark is closer to the first down. Oh, and Isaiah Neal didn't like that spot.
Trying to pick up some part-time work.
Future linesman Isaiah Neal. But Keon Sears, who they had off center there, and now they're going to have to measure it with the clock stopped 1:08 second quarter. So let's see if
Venice has been creative tonight with their formations. Didn't need much. Pitching it out there. Well, we'll see if it looks like they did, but we'll see here with the measure.
That was the quarterback Bentley snapping it. Alvin Johnson the back. Keon Sears was back directly behind him, and Alvin Johnson is the one that thinks he has a first down, and he is right. Isaiah Neal, when he's graded this week by the officials, will not get a good grade on the good mark. But of course he was biased. He was the one in on the tackle, but the drive continues.
A nice job there too by John Peacock, obviously their head coach at Venice. Said you don't want to give the football back to St. Francis at midfield, but they're able to, with that call, keep this drive alive, keep that offense out on the field.
Well, if you're thinking about a field goal, Venice wants to get to the 25 to feel comfortable sending Kotov out there. So still some work to do there, obviously. And blanketed coverage over on the sideline with would-be in coverage. Venice's fans are yelling for a penalty. But the guy that told you he's going to be the #1 corner in the nation by the end of it, making that play.
Blanketed was, I think, is a good term for the coverage, right? In the spot, one of the top already, just in the 2025 class, already establishing himself as one of the players to watch.
He basically sprinted up to you before you could leave practice yesterday and said, hey, I wanted to introduce myself. Just know I'm going to be the #1 corner.
A corner with confidence. Shocking.
So you're saying that Dana needs to talk to him at some point. SC next will be all over it. Deep shot, and that's incomplete. And a flag in this time. And it's would-be against Matulovic on back-to-back plays. And the confident corner may have just gotten flagged.
What's interesting is I think you may have had a better case on the previous play than that one.
So was that we should have thrown it a play earlier, so we're going to throw it now because it was close?
You know, we'll take a look once we get the call from the official.
Holding on the defense, 10-yard penalty. That'll make it a first down.
You're just going to let my question sit?
Yeah, well, you know, I thought we might get another look at it, but either way, he drew the flag.
Naked eye, what'd you think? Yes or no?
I thought it was good. I didn't see, maybe he got a piece of him coming off the line. By the time I had picked up the play, it didn't seem like it was just like good coverage there.
Got it. We'll move on.
There you go.
Well, Woodby runs a 4.440. Matulovic tangled up with him. Now with pressure in his face, out to Johnson, and incomplete. So 2nd and 10, clock stopped, inside a minute to go.
I tried to set up that screen. Womack immediately in his face, closing. And then it was a nice job there at that second level of getting around the block. So nowhere, even had they connected, there was nowhere for that to go.
Well, Venice with that one timeout to feel comfortable kicking. They need 13 more yards, so at least another first down. Again, to get into comfortable field goal range here before halftime to try to make it a one-score game. Bentley out of empty with Washington in there, and he gets that knocked down and right at the feet of Matulovic.
We talked about it. Power. That was a straight power rush from the LSU commit, Dashawn Womack. Watch him just come off and just drive number 73 right back to the quarterback, gets his hand up, is able to effect the throw. One of the traits we talked about in that open, power. We saw it, the power rush from Dashawn Womack.
Well, that is a tough ask for a sophomore right tackle, Anthony Tanica, against the LSU commit Womack. That's a tough ask for anybody. 3rd and 10, quick strike, incomplete. Wanted Matulovic again, and it's Woodby against Matulovic late in this drive, and Woodby wins another one. 4th down. So what do you do if you're Venice? You're not in comfortable field goal range for Kotov. And the offense is lingering around.
Oh, yeah.
They are going to go for it.
They're in no rush. Like I said, we'll see maybe here if Bentley does, maybe just try to pooch it down. Empty backfield.
Well, he's deep into the shotgun, but he is throwing it, and he throws it to nobody. His receiver, Washington, was sitting on a hitch. He threw a go, and a turnover on downs, and Washington is wondering, why was that ball thrown over the top?
Yeah, that was interesting. Like I said, nobody back there. He thought maybe he might just try to pooch it downfield, let it roll a little bit. They threw it up, nobody there. They're able to take a little bit more time off with that previous 1st down.
So 36 seconds until the half. St. Francis getting it back. There's a long line of guys. Coach Messay Hailemariam has sent 140 guys in his decade or so to the Division I level, and here's some of the big names at the FBS level right now.
We talked about some of the Power 5 talent on this current team. We've seen some that have come through this program now making an impact in college.
Well, another one headed there after his commitment yesterday, Robinson, but the outside linebacker Jack Huber makes the tackle. And a timeout for St. Francis after the run calls on 1st down with a half minute to go. Dana?
We were talking to Coach yesterday about the alumni for St. Francis, and they've got a leadership council. Coach showed us his phone with all of the text messages that he has created with former players to help current players who are going off to play college bridge that gap. They can ask questions of any sort. What's it like to train in college? What's it like to go to study hall? And he's able to create that community with his alumni who want to come back, help the players on the team go to college. I think that's really important, giving back to that next generation who's going to go on to college, do big things for their institution. It's important. It's a lot bigger than just football and X's and O's on the field. And I like what Coach Messay and his staff are building at St. Francis.
Dana, Coach was very fired up about that. I thought he was about ready to ask you to come into the WhatsApp group chat.
I'll do it. They sent baby pictures too, so former players are sending their kids in the group chat. I mean, I'd like to be added. I'd play for him.
I think post-game that needs to happen. It was like a 15-minute conversation just about baby pictures and how the alumni are helping out the current guys.
But as Dana said, it's important because this is building a community and letting those players that have come through the program be able to share their experiences to the younger players to help kind of pave the way, maybe make their journey a little bit easier.
So 2nd and 11, inside 30 seconds to go in the half. And Van Buren stepping up in the pocket, and it's incomplete.
They smartly doubled Damon Wilson on that play, and he was still able to kind of break through and force that throw a little bit. You're going to see him up top. They're going to put 2 on him, the back and the tackle. He's still able to break through and force the quarterback, Van Buren, to have to step up a little bit. And even though he had a wide open receiver, not able to connect, Damon Wilson certainly making an impact here in this 1st half.
Greg, outside of a couple of big plays for St. Francis, he had wrecked a lot of stuff in this 1st half. And a timeout called before the 3rd down and 11 play. Looked like St. Francis was getting into kneel down formation. See the face of Wilson, by the way? He was bleeding. I don't know if he got hands to the face on that last play or what, but there was a lot of hand fighting going on that double team.
He's been battling through that 1st half. Said it's been an impressive performance. Head coach John Peacock said he felt like his defense, and deservedly so, he felt like this is a defense that can hang with that St. Francis offense, even with all the talent that they have, especially when you got a line anchored by the 4-star Damon Wilson. You got Elliott Washington, a Penn State commit in the back end. We see there, even 2 on him, he was still able to get in there and disrupt the play.
The face mask is supposed to stop that from happening. But fighting through that double team, almost got home for the sack.
Looked like the momentum may have taken it right into the shoulder pads, and that shoulder pad might have just sliced through the face mask.
It ran right into the shoulder of Randy Lowe, the left guard. But Wilson's coming out for 3rd down and 11.
Like, come on, I just beat 2 blockers. I shouldn't get hurt running.
I shouldn't be the one bleeding. That's not right. That's not how that's supposed to work. So no Neal down. Instead, a give to Williams. And looking for that edge. And fights his way for 5 yards. And Damon Wilson, blood and all, makes the tackle. And Venice takes their final timeout with 14 seconds left. Might see him come out in the second half with the nose swab in. Try to stop that bleeding.
Oh, Sid Venice did not want to give that football back to St. Francis. With good field position and some time left on the clock, this defense has responded, now setting up a 4th. And if there's really one weakness of this St. Francis team, it's the kicking game. Somebody you see here trying to force them, if they need to punt, to try to get after that football.
Yeah, so that special teams, the big question is St. Francis travels all around the country this year. They're going to go on an 8,000-mile trip, round trip to Hawaii late in September. They're traveling more than any FCS college team in the country this year, and more travel miles than 50 FBS teams. This is a high school team, we remind you.
Yeah, it could be high school players are getting in quite a good status on a couple airlines.
No, we didn't ask their pick. Could maybe get in on the company rate. So 4th down coming for St. Francis. It's the guy raising all that money, Messay Hailemariam. So they can do all this travel. And it's a fake. It's a fake, and it's complete to Sam Green. Along the sideline, 1st down and more, down to the 30. Chase Wilkins, the tight end, back to punt. And shown that he can throw it too.
That was an interesting call. Did not see that one coming. As I mentioned, the kicking game has not been the strength of this really talented squad there, but Sam Green getting ready to make a commitment, slipped out.
All right, so Van Buren kills the clock. It'll be 2nd and 10 inside the 30-yard line. Chase Wilkins has caught a touchdown in this game. Now he's completed a pass.
See Sam Green off there to the left, slips out all alone. Just puts it right on him. Some blocking downfield. And going to give them a chance here at the end zone, a shot at the end zone.
So Dana's question to him when he does his commitment. So you're the #1 quarterback in the class. Where are you going? Here's Van Buren stepping up, throwing deep, end zone, and incomplete. And a flag is down on the sideline. The clock showing zeros. And they might add a 2nd back onto the clock with the flag down too.
Ineligible downfield against the offense. 5-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
Okay, so that backs up St. Francis. 1 second on the clock. Took an end zone shot there to Ryan Manning. Time for one more of those, but rain coming down hard before halftime.
I'm sure here they're going to try to double team number 11 again.
So St. Francis with a 3-0 deficit early. They've scored 14 in a row. Looking for more points before the half, but Van Buren's not getting it off. He's sacked in the half by Dominic Wood. And David Galloway in there too from defensive tackle. And that ends the half. So St. Francis with the final 14 of the half. And they go up by 11 into the break.
Well, Venice will go down into the half trailing, but that defense has certainly done their part.
All right, Dana's down in the field with St. Francis's head coach, Messay Hailemariam.
Thanks, Connor. Messay, you guys bounced back on offense. You had some penalties in the first half. What'd you take of that first half from your team?
I mean, the elements are not really the factor, but they're slowing the game down. It's kind of taking us out of rhythm. And then the best thing we can do is impose and make the best of the game and get out of here with a victory. You know what I mean? The best is that we learn how to be patient. we can't make the mistakes and think that we're going to take advantage of the opportunities. And what they're doing is exactly what they should, slowing the game down, trying to take us out of our comfort zone like they have, and then it's cost us a few things, but it doesn't hurt to have home cooking. It's a little bit lopsided in terms of the calls.
Thanks for the time. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
A little bit lopsided in terms of the calls after the penalty-filled first half for St. Francis, but they got it right with Chase Wilkins on the touchdown from Michael Van Buren. Then Durrell Robinson made it. Dana Boyle down on the field. She is ready to break the commitment internet. We're going to have a live commitment. Sam Green is ready to make his decision down with his family.
Thanks, Connor. It's raining, but we don't care because you got a big announcement. You're going to college.
My talent's to Cali, baby.
So that's a big decision to make. What is it that went into USC and Lincoln Riley?
Coach Neal, the players, they just feel like home. They just feel like home. So I love being around a family-oriented coaching staff, and that's what they are.
Speaking of family, you got your whole family here. Mom, don't cry. It's okay if you cry.
I'm okay.
That's a big deal. Your son's going to college. How proud are you of him?
I am so proud. I'm so proud from where we came from, and we're here now. All of the coaches, everybody that pressed me since for Sam to come to St. Francis. We're here. We're here. It's just starting. I feel like it's just starting. Like, he came in February, 15 D1 offers, and now he's going to Cali.
Everyone around us is really proud. So Sam, you've got a buddy there, a former St. Francis teammate in Lee. Did that help at all in your decision?
I had a couple guys down there from the DMV, like Colin, a lot of guys that paved the way for me to come from the DMV and be the guy out there. So I'm ready to be the guy out there. Riley, I'm coming, baby.
Well, we're all really proud of you. Thanks for the time, and good luck in the second half.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Connor, back up.
Oh, thank you, Dana. Oh, those are not raindrops. Those are tears from Mom. Goosebumps, man. That's a cool moment for Sam Green and his family, and this is the class that he joins at USC.
Well, he's ready for Cali. He's wearing sunglasses at a nighttime commitment. He's ready for the West Coast. And listen, this is a big commitment. I'll tell you why. This USC class is battling for a top 10 overall class. Tons of perimeter talent in Zachariah Branch, Mekhi Lemon, the #1 overall player in the nation, Malachi Nelson. But what are they all? They're all skilled players. If you're going to be a contender at USC, you need to get better in the trenches. And they went all the way to St. Francis to pick up a really talented defensive tackle. Good explosiveness, good with his hands, plays with leverage. It's a really nice pickup at an area where if you're going to compete in the Big Ten, you better be good in the trenches, and they're certainly picking up a player, only their 3rd defensive line commit in this class. Really nice pickup. And Shane Lee played at St. Francis, now the starting linebacker at USC, one of those players that certainly played a role in helping them pick up this young man.
Well, that's the big question, right? Going to the Big Ten, you talked about adding in the trenches. How are they going to handle fullback sets against teams like Wisconsin and Iowa? They got a guy that can wrong arm you, can cut out your legs, and make big plays against those guys.
Yeah, they certainly have a lot of explosive talent. Need some bodies in the trenches. That's a really nice pickup there. This is a young man, as you mentioned. Listen, he wasn't really on the radar a year ago. I mean, he's a high 3-star, potentially could be a 4-star, but this is one of those players that may not be a big name, no name to recruiting fans. Let me tell you, this is a really nice pickup by the Trojans.
So Sam Green going to USC and joining Lincoln Riley's 12th ranked class. Off we go in the second half with St. Francis getting it first off of the touchback. So on the offensive side for St. Francis, still to be determined where Michael Van Buren will go. The 4-star quarterback had a good first half.
Yeah, he's certainly a playmaker. He showed some poise here. Using his legs, he's made some runs, doing a nice job kind of getting the football around to some of his playmakers. The offense, though, has just not been in sync, and he is part of that offense as well. Sometimes you got to get everybody calmed down, get some consistency, but they've been able to put together some drives there. You see beating the rush, getting the football underneath, and he has certainly been helped by his running back, Durrell Robinson, the Boston College commit, has made some nice runs.
So he starts with his running backs. This is the other running back, DeJuan Williams, breaking out into open space. First play of the second half and a touchdown. DeJuan Williams, 80 yards straight out of the cannon for a touchdown.
We talked about Durrell Robinson kind of being a catalyst for that offense in the first half. They come out in the second half. Get it to Dashawn Williams, ESPN Junior 300, running back, Louisville, Georgia Tech, Penn State. Some of the reported offers for the 2024 prospect. And nice job by the offensive line creating a seam. He just burst through it, took it to the house.
And he's going to tell you about it back home. Dashawn Williams, first play of the second half. Again, he is a 4-star that is the #2 back on this St. Francis team. McDonald's kick is no good, but a loud, fast start for St. Francis out of the locker room.
Yeah, that Venice defense made St. Francis earn everything in that first half, but here to start the second half, St. Francis able to come out with a big explosive play right up the middle. He's able to break through one arm tackle. Once he got to that second level, he's all alone and showing the speed to be able to separate and finish.
Pretty easy drive summary. One play, 11 seconds, 80 yards, touchdown. And it's been a slow night for the quarterbacks yardage-wise through the rain.
Yeah, not much coming through the air, but as we've mentioned, the one difference is for St. Francis, they have been complemented by a strong running attack. 225 yards on the ground. You certainly don't need to be prolific through the air when you're being productive on the ground.
Yeah, that combo of Robinson and Williams racking up over 200 yards. And St. Francis said that they want to, as much as they can, split the carries between those two guys. And just like they did against DeSoto, both running backs over 100 yards. So Venice and Brooks Bentley will get a chance to touch it for the first time after the kick to Sears. And he weaves for a couple extra yards up to the 35-yard line. So after Sam Green's commitment, some good news to Southern California, and St. Francis on the next play, they go right down the gut for a touchdown.
And when you can go right down the gut for a touchdown, what do you avoid?
Number penalty.
No, number 11, Damon Wilson.
That
you don't have to go to the edge. So when you can attack the A-gaps and get a big play, certainly best case scenario working against this Venice defense.
You juked me there.
I did. I want to keep you guessing. I want to keep you on your toes.
Maybe by week 10 we'll complete each other's sentences. So Brooks Bentley, quick handoff. That's going nowhere. He said, Lincoln Riley, I'm coming. And Sam Green, the recent USC commit, makes the tackle.
Showing that explosiveness, big smile coming off the commitment. Just fires upfield, beats that center who was trying to block down. But he almost was a part of that handoff there to quickly swallow it up. And I'll say this too, we talked to head coach Messay Hailemariam yesterday. He was kind of conflicted whether he should let him announce during the game. And I'm sure there's a lot of people going, it's a football game. He said, you know what, this is his young man's moment. Let him have it. And there he's rewarding him with a nice play after that big commitment.
And after Green's play, Isaiah Neal, who lines up next to him, ropes the back down. And that interior of the line taken over for St. Francis.
He's a Pitt commit. You want to talk about just a hand-to-glove fit. He seems like a perfect commit for them. He's just a lunch pail type player. He is a leader of that defense at camps. He's one of the vocal guys. He works hard every play. He runs to the line of scrimmage. He is a leader. He may not have some of the pure athleticism of some of those other players on that defensive front, but he's a guy who's going to maximize every ounce of ability that he has. Isaiah Neal is one of those players. Doesn't get a lot of fanfare amongst that group, but he's a heck of a football player.
Head coach called him an incredible leader. Setting up third down at 18, and that had no shot over Woodby. Ryan Matulovic wedged into that sideline, and it's fourth down and long for Venice in their offense.
Yeah, those two have been battling tonight, Woodby and Matulovic, and Woodby right there running the route with him, actually out in front.
So that's that bib coverage that you were talking about before. And here comes the punt unit.
You got to make that stick.
Well, the rush coming, but they get it away. And a skipping punt hops down toward the 25 before Venice gets on top of it. By just mentioning it, the bib comment from week 0 making its way back with Blake Woodby tonight. We're back after this.
Got our favorites. Chicken McNuggets.
Let me guess, a Big Mac?
What's that?
Where's my McNugget, Dad?
What McNugget?
I can literally see it.
Buy one favorite like 10-piece McNuggets and get another for just $1. Right now at McDonald's.
Let's take it slow. Slow, slow.
Mom?
Wow. Wow. And they'll check them both for free.
Yes.
Fix Finder, the most complete free warning light report backed by technician-verified fixes.
New Astapro Allergy, now available without a prescription. Astapro is the first and only 24-hour steroid-free spray. While other allergy sprays take hours, Astapro starts working in 30 minutes. So you can Astapro and go.
GoDaddy Payments offers fast and secure payments for customers at the lowest transaction fees. So you can keep more of the money you make and continue to grow your business. If you've got it, we've got you. Start today at GoDaddy.com/payments.
Raise those hands. Let everybody know you went deep.
This is the time of year when things get real. Sunday Night Baseball. Sundays at 7 on ESPN.
A big start to the second half for St. Francis. They have a defensive lineman commit to USC. First play goes for an 80-yard touchdown, then a 3-and-out. Some of these guys for St. Francis, you're probably going to see them join this list next year.
Well, on the Geico ESPN High School Football Showcase, where he's talking about we're watching the future of college football, and we're seeing some players who just a year ago were playing high school football, now making their presence known at college. Nicholas Singleton, a nice job on the ground. Kelvin Banks, offensive linemen often don't get recognized, did a really nice job as a starter in that tough loss to Alabama. Dane Key, you see that catch he had against Florida, an outstanding job of going up and getting it. And Omarion Hampton has been off to a really nice start early on this season for North Carolina in that backfield.
And with the FBS guys all over the defense for St. Francis, some juniors on this offense. Again, you're going to see some of those guys on that graphic next year for the St. Francis offense. They start their second drive of the second half. On the ground after the big hitter from DeJuan Williams, part of that talented junior class, started the half.
Second 7.
Another 200 rushing yards tonight will not grow here. There's Damon Wilson one more time making a play.
It all started with number 18, Jack Huber. We've called his name a few times tonight. He was able to get into the backfield immediately, stop the initial downhill force, and allow Damon Wilson to come in there and clean it up.
Well, Huber popped on tape last week. I know we talked a lot about Wilson. He's the ESPN 300 recruit, but Huber had double-digit tackles last week for Venice, holding Naples to 11 points.
So you're going to see number 18 get back there, and it was Damon Wilson comes in, takes on the block. Huber gets in there, slows down the running back. He's able to play off it and make the tackle. Nice teamwork there.
Keeping it on the ground on third down, and when you've got backs like they do, you just give it to Williams on third and long, and he gets you the first down out toward midfield.
Well, with both of those backs, they get any crease. We're seeing the explosive, the pop. They're able to hit top speed, exploit it, get downfield for a nice gain.
Williams is the guy that Messay Hailemariam said is faster. He hit the speed on that first play of the half. Makes a cut into the arms of Wilson with a flag in at the back of the play. It was way behind the play, out in the secondary on a run play.
One of those St. Francis offensive linemen was way downfield.
So block in the back. It takes away a 5-yard run for DeJuan Williams.
Yeah, looks like he made a little bit of aggressive blocking downfield.
Messay Hailemariam, the head coach for St. Francis, said it was a little one-sided when he talked to Dana with the penalties in the first half, but a lot of them have been obvious, too.
Yeah, listen, and listen, well, this is one of those things you can't control. You just got to play, you got to execute, you know, and you got to go with the flow. But as you mentioned, there's some of those have been, listen, right on point as well.
We got the third back, Nick Harris, into the game for St. Francis. And he seeks the edge and drags a tackler past the 45 near a first down. So another flag is down, right back toward the line of scrimmage.
Harris on the carry, flag on the play.
And if the trend continues, it's against St. Francis. Venice has been shut out tonight in the penalty department.
Holding on the offense, 10-yard penalty, remains first down.
So block in the back, and now a hold. And the penalty number grows to 10.
Usually not a big part of your play calling chart at 1st and 21.
No, you don't think so?
No.
How many do you think they've got on the play card for this?
Probably we're going to see it right here.
Just the one. All right, here it is for all time's sake. The 1st and 25 play call. And it goes to Woodby.
It's a good one.
Star cornerback. He hits the sideline, and Woodby's gone. Down and distance don't matter when you can fly. Blake Woodby into the end zone.
63 yards. May just want to move that one into the regular rotation.
It's the only thing you need on the menu.
Yes.
The jet sweep to Woodby, who runs a 4.440, and he showed the wheels for the touchdown.
Yeah, out of camp this year, laser, he ran a 4.46. That is just absolutely flying. Saw that speed once he got to the edge. And as we mentioned, told us yesterday when we left, I'm the #1 corner, and maybe trying to make a move into the athlete category. There you go. Here's I'm an athlete now.
And the kick is good after Blake Woodby with the house call showing off the 4.4 legs.
Their 8th explosive run of 10 or plus more yards tonight. There would be taking it around the corner. #1 corner, maybe #1 athlete. We'll see. To be determined.
Blake Woodby and Messay Hailemariam, his head coach, getting in after he runs for 63 yards and a touchdown, playing both ways tonight. And he put St. Francis up another score. And telling our cameras, I'm an athlete, after going for the house call.
Just 24 hours later, he had boxed himself into just being a corner. Tonight he wants to expand to the athlete category. And remember, that was a 1st and 21. Turned into a touchdown. It's really been a difference in the first half. Venice was making St. Francis earn every yard they got. In the second half, 2 explosive runs for the points to expand the lead.
So Venice getting back, looking for their first points since halftime, and Sears dragged down. Well, you know that Blake Woodby is going to be a good interview after our conversation yesterday. Dana's with him now.
Thanks, Connor. Blake, you're making plays as a freshman. You're not just a corner. What did you see on that play? Where's that confidence come from?
Confidence comes from my father. I just passed down right in the genes. He's the most confident person I know, and I know if I'm just like him, I'll be just great.
What did he yell to you on the sidelines?
He yelled me the sound. He said, keep on going, keep on being you. I'm most the talkative person in the family, so I talk a lot in the field. It don't really come from here, really quiet, but I just try to be myself, that's all.
We like it. Thanks for the time.
Yes, ma'am.
Dana, I'm the most talkative guy in the field. You don't say?
We'll take your word for it.
Good stuff from...
Giving a shout out to Dad as well.
Yeah, good stuff from Blake Woodby and Dana down in the field. So Venice looking for their first positive yards of this half, and a big thump from Idris Farouk up from safety. Talk about run filling, man. Way to pop on Johnson there.
Farouk, part of that 2024 class. Really talented secondary.
It didn't look like either side was ready to go there. Matulovic is left all alone on the edge, and he's down to the 30 and out of bounds. There was a flag that did come in on the far sideline. Nobody was lined up there, offense or defense.
Tried to catch him there. Probably not set.
As it stands, it's a 32-yard play to Matulovic. Will it count, though?
They remain second down.
Okay, so wipe that off. Would have been the biggest play of the half for Venice.
Tried to move quick, exploit Matulovic being uncovered, but a little bit too quick.
So the marker says first down. Should be second down. They'll get that changed. Should be second down and 10. That first down play was the 5-yard run for Johnson. Or more accurately, first down and 30 feet. But this defense for St. Francis, I mean, they obviously set the tone with that big run out of halftime. But before this drive, -8 yards for Venice since halftime on offense. Okay, this should be second and 10. It should be second down and 10. It was a 5-yard penalty.
They're not used to working on penalties against Venice.
Right.
A little thrown off.
John Peacock, a little wry smile on that Venice sideline. That was the first penalty of the night. Good point.
Let's just keep the penalties against St. Francis. They seem to be going smoother. Yeah.
That was a tight-lipped conversation for Michael Van Buren over there. Couldn't read his lips, but he might be saying they got one on them. What? And now we march it forward, and the digital marker says second down.
All is right.
All right, so here we go. The much anticipated second down and 10 play is incomplete. And Matulovic tangled up with Idris Farouk, having a good drive tackle, and now he's in coverage. No, he's the young future Power 5 safety that they have tangling up with Matulovic there. He's got offers from Arkansas, Arizona. He's got good genes too. His cousin's a wide receiver at Oklahoma.
That entire secondary already reporting offers.
You can understand why it's been a night where Venice has had less than 50 yards passing. 3rd and 10 for Brooks Bentley. Steps up, flag flies, looking for the sticks. He got there. Oh, he gets ball punched out at the end by Cordell Jefferson. But we'll check on the flag.
Second one there came in at the end of the play as well.
You'd think that would be on the action from Jefferson. The first one was right at the line of scrimmage. So they'll meet about it after the long seminar-like meeting that they had on the second down play. So illegal formation. Okay, so illegal formation, and then this at the end. Watch Jefferson come in. He's the last guy to the pile here, and then he punches the ball.
Yeah, unnecessary. They had a first half where they were pretty undisciplined and kind of cleaned that up. And then there, Venice had kind of drawn a flag on themselves. Again, a rare flag on themselves, but then at the end, unnecessary action winds up giving that offense a first down.
It's not supposed to happen where you're up 4 scores and you have 100 more penalty yards than the other team. Doesn't usually go that way. Okay, 86 more penalty yards than the other team, if we're getting exact. So with all that, with the double penalty, first down and 10 from the 44 for Venice. And a pull for Bentley, and he gets it to Keon Sears. And he slides down shy midfield.
A good ball handling there by Bentley. It's been Matulovic, talented sophomore, that's been targeted mainly tonight, but Sears really the only returning starter amongst that receiver group.
Well, the team that won the state championship last year, Venice, won their 3rd state championship last year. Sears is the only guy back. They lost 10 of their 11 starters on offense. They're reloaded on defense. That's their better unit. Big question for them to try to repeat is this group. And Bentley throws it away, yet Matulovic breaking open. And it'll be 3rd down and 5.
Had to make that throw on the run and too much on of it.
And pressure came from Colin Coates up the middle, the Charlotte commit. And we get a water break, as is typical here in Florida, under 6 minutes in each quarter. Coming up on Saturday, got big slate of games on ESPN Plus. They were jumping in the duck pond at App State last week on campus after they beat Texas A&M. They get Troy this week. Of course, game day will be in Boone, North Carolina, Dana Boyle's new favorite city. And Missouri State's at number 10, Arkansas, 7 Eastern on ESPN Plus. And it's Arkansas Pine Bluff at Oklahoma State on Big Ten now on ESPN Plus. That one at 7 Eastern to close out our big slate on ESPN Plus on Saturday.
And after some upsets last weekend, you know everybody's going to be on their toes. You may be a ranked team going against a G5 school, but hey, listen, you know coaches everywhere say, look at those scoreboards last week. You better be dialed in. Take nothing for granted.
You're saying an open window for Arkansas Pine Bluff, maybe.
Well, I'm saying that nobody's going to get caught off guard this weekend. Or they shouldn't be after some of the upsets we saw last weekend.
We saw Georgia Southern beat Nebraska. We saw Marshall beat Notre Dame. Of course, that App State win. Big upset weekend in week 2. Can't wait for week 3. Coming up here over the next couple of days. So 3rd and 5 for Brooks Bentley in the Venice offense. They've had a real tough time moving the ball since that opening drive of the game when they marched down 10-play drive and got a field goal. 27 straight for St. Francis since. And it's out to Sears. It's complete for a 1st down. And the electric slot receiver loses the ball at the 20. And it's free for St. Francis. But they do mark him down. They do mark Sears down. Idris Farouk came in at the end of the play and forced the fumble. But Venice gets the big hitter.
This was tremendous effort from Idris Farouk. You see him coming from behind, and he was not down. Not even close. That was a tremendous effort on his part. St. Francis brought pressure. It was a nice job by Bentley of quickly getting rid of that, finding Sears, and then staying after the play. I mean, that was clearly knocked out, but no replay in high school, so Venice is going to get an opportunity with that. Well, the officials are convening.
Yeah, I didn't think he was down in the moment.
No, it wasn't.
He
even
definitely
close.
was not.
No. But regardless, great effort.
So it's the longest play of the night for Venice. And there's a flag in after.
Dead ball, unsportsmanlike, on the defense, half the distance, 1st down.
I'm wondering if that came from the sideline. Messay Hailemariam was pretty fired up after another penalty against this, or not another penalty, but another call that goes against this team.
Well, especially after you've just created a turnover.
A great rundown from Idris Farouk. It's the 3rd play he's made on this drive. Big run, Phil, a pass breakup, then robbed of a forced fumble. So after their biggest play of the night from Sears, the 1st and goal play is blown dead.
Timeout.
Not the smoothest drive, but it's 1st and goal when we come back. Well, as they say at Venice, it's different here. They've put a bunch of guys into the FBS ranks in college football on their way to 3 state championships here in Florida. Guys like Dree Archer, who ran one of the fastest 40 times at the NFL Combine ever out of Kent State and then to the Steelers. He's an alum of here.
One of those two, Clay Burton, a 4-star in the 2011 class, signed with Florida. He's now back teaching and a part of the coaching staff here at Venice.
Well, those are the two big ones, with Venice pumping out offensive talent, trying to get their first points of the second half. The inside give to Johnson, not going anywhere. And a bunch of guys clubbing at it for St. Francis too. They're trying to make up for that fumble that they thought they had, they should have had, but didn't. It was Cam Howard who made that tackle. He was the one who picked up the fumble that was not. And no gain on the play on the inside give for Johnson. Back to Johnson and back into yellow jerseys. Swallowed up one more time. And a surge led by Carlton Smith from linebacker. He's the baby of the linebacker room, but already has big offers as a sophomore for St. Francis.
Talked about some of those guys up front. Number 9, Isaiah Neal. Number 8, the new USC commit, Sam Green, doing a nice job giving much ground.
So 3rd and goal on a drive for Venice where they've almost produced as many yards as they've gotten on penalties. Well, they tried to shorten this game in the first half, led it 3-0. The next 27 from St. Francis. And the 3rd down play is blown dead.
Got time. Venice.
So Venice takes their first time out of the second half. Well, wet night. You haven't had much success through the air with Brooks Bentley trying to get it out to Matulovic and Sears. Got to throw it here, though, don't you?
And also, maybe you target, we'll see if they get number 88 there, tight end Finn Jones. He's kind of an interesting player. He's a basketball player. This is his first year playing. He's got a lot of physical tools. He's already a Florida Atlantic commit. See if they maybe try to look him up. Certainly a big target at 6'6", 235.
With the cups in the fence, that's a pretty creative way of making up for 2000 state champs and then adding the other 2 on the back end, winning 3 last year. And the 3-time state champions, you know, school, a little over 2,000 kids, big school here in the state of Florida.
A lot of talent coming through, obviously. 2 on it. We talked about Damon Wilson. He's had a big night tonight, especially in that first half. Elliott Washington committed to Penn State. Mentioned, and see here, number 88, Finn Jones, tight end. He has not been targeted yet tonight. It's going to be a perfect spot down here.
He's bottom of the screen at tight ends, and he does throw it to Finn Jones. Finn Jones has the touchdown. We think, yeah, confirm it, touchdown. Ball rolled out at the end of it, and they do say touchdown to Finn Jones, and you're psychic.
Well, listen, you got a big target. If not, had a chance to get the football to him tonight. They do here. We'll see if he's able to get it across the goal line. They're going to swipe at the football.
Oh, that's out too.
Yeah, and St. Francis tonight, second time they were able to create a turnover, but the call goes for Venice and points on the board.
And Carlton Smith banged it out of there, but they do say touchdown. Venice going for 2 at the rolling pocket, and it's incomplete. And the try fails, looking for Finn Jones again. Well, you got 4- and 5-star guys out there tonight. Well, we'll talk about that after the flag. Maybe they'll get a second try at it.
Have to ice their elbows after this game.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, replayed it.
Tommy John coming.
I mean,
so replay the down after Finn Jones, the target again.
Talked about Michael Van Buren's delivery. We'll talk about some of these officials' deliveries on that flag throw.
So Finn Jones, you're talking about how he's pretty new to football. He's already committed to FAU, 6'6", and we can see him run, but first year playing football. He was living the basketball dream at Cardinal Mooney High School not too long ago, and shows up, plays football, and now Willie Taggart's getting him to play tight end at the next level. After Jones' touchdown and the penalty, another try on the 2-point conversion, and that's out to Sears, and he fights his way in. So put 2 more up on the board for Venice, After the Jones touchdown, Sears gives him the 2-point conversion.
Adriz Farouk, who had knocked that ball loose earlier on that drive, had read it very nicely, but had tried to attack the football and missed instead of going after the receiver. And they were able to punch that in.
Hey, we were talking about some of the big college games coming up this weekend. Our weekend's not done. We're hopping on a jet right after this, headed to Vegas. We'll see Zachariah Branch tomorrow night at Bishop Gorman, an electric wide receiver out there in Vegas.
Say it a fourth time, because that's how
electric.
He is, in my opinion, the most electric player in this class, period. He is so dangerous, so quick, tremendous speed. He is an absolute playmaker, and I'm sure they're going to try to find ways to get to him the football tomorrow night in that game against Brookwood, and he'll be playing against Dylan Lonergan, a two-sport athlete going to Alabama as a quarterback and a baseball player, a pitcher. So really one of the two ESPN 300 quarterbacks in that Alabama class. Look forward to seeing him in action tomorrow night as well.
There are stars all over that one. This is a great weekend to have two games on the ESPN family of networks. Connor Onion, Craig Hobart, Dana Boyle, glad you're with us on this Thursday night. Hope you can join us tomorrow night too. Bishop Gorman always pumps out good athletes. Brookwood is playing their first ever out-of-state game tomorrow night, so they're trying to get on the national map.
And they're excited about the opportunity.
There might be a Lou Holtz impersonation thrown out on the air tomorrow night. There's your tease to join us. So Venice kicking off after the Finn Jones touchdown, and a touchback sends Michael Van Buren and those very talented running backs back out onto the field. Williams, Robinson, Woodby doing it big tonight.
Yeah, the ground game, we talked about Michael Van Buren, how promising he is, the comparisons to Bryce Young, but he really hasn't needed to be a factor with the job that they have done on the ground. We've seen Williams, Robinson, Woodby on that 1st and 21 play. He was able to punch it in. You also got to give credit, though, to that offensive group up front as well, creating seams for those running backs to be able to exploit and get those yards on the ground.
Well, maybe not the best offensive line that St. Francis has had, as the flag is in on this play. Maybe not the best one they've ever had, but that's a pretty high standard. Coming along pretty well with mostly seniors up there.
Snap infraction on the offense, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Alec Washington, the center, will want that back though. You had me say electric 4 times. How many times can you say penalty? That was the 14th one. A handoff on 1st and 15 to Williams, and he swerves his way up to the 20. You want to say it again? Penalty. Carter Dalton made the stop, and then the flag flew in right at that spot.
So St. Francis is outpacing Venice in points, up 27-11, outpacing them also in total penalties, now 15-11 points. So Venice only
Look at that look. Just standing there staring right at the referee. Anyway, you were saying?
Yeah, Venice wants to make up one of those deficits, not the one in penalty, only in points, but.
Look, that Jones touchdown made this a 2-score game. Still a lot of time left in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, the one, St. Francis cannot self-destruct here. They got to shake those off, as they've been able to here in this game. See 15 penalties. They've been able to still make some plays. They got to keep their composure. You can only control what you can control.
Well, 1st and 25, they went jet sweep house call. 1st and 22, and an outside run, and not a house call. Tackle made by Elliott Washington after the run for Williams again. Isaiah Neal in laying a block too. We haven't talked a lot about Washington tonight because there haven't been a lot of passes for that secondary to make plays.
Yeah, it was really that first play of the game. Remember when he had the end around, they pitched it to him, and he had the opportunity for the touchdown pass overthrew, but you're right, hasn't really been a factor as they have not had to challenge them through the air.
Bottom of your screen at cornerback, Elliott Washington. He's a four-star player headed to Penn State. And he's in near the play. Set up third down as Jack Huber makes another tackle. Swallowing up tackles in this game.
Huber, along with Damon Wilson, have kind of been the two most active defenders on that Venice defense. Now, the few times that St. Francis has tried to drop back, Venice has done a nice job, obviously led by Damon Wilson, of creating pressure.
You get a look at Elliott Washington. He can help out in the run game, too. He's a guy that looks like an outside linebacker playing corner. He is 6'1", 205. Big, big high school corner. Another inside run for Nick Harris. He gets back near the initial line of scrimmage, but it's going to be 4th down and long. And after 2 penalties, getting backed up to 1st and 22, Venice comes up with a stop, and the punt unit coming out.
Going back to number 0, Elliott Washington, playing corner, projects as a safety in college, and tremendous range. And part of that class we saw open kickoff weekend with King Mack.
Conrad Hussey, too.
Conrad Hussey as well. So a lot of secondary talent coming in that Penn State class.
But both those guys that are committed to Penn State are safeties. They play at St. Thomas Aquinas, who you mentioned we had on opening weekend. So Jaquan Brisker goes to the NFL. They are reloading at Penn State in that secondary room. And the punt from Wilkins is not a good one. So very good field position for Venice. Look out now, Craig. Score here, and this is potentially a 1-touchdown game on a night where it feels like St. Francis is dominated.
Well, they have, but penalties have not gone their way. And obviously, on that last drive, they were able to create 2 turnovers, didn't get them. But now, Venice, as you mentioned, they're going to start off with excellent field position here.
So it will be maybe on the shoulder of Brooks Bentley to try to bring him back. And he's got a great lineage in his family. His brother Jake was the quarterback in South Carolina. That a picture from 2019 when Jake was there.
Jake, ESPN 300 prospect back when he was coming out. A few stops in college, now starting to get into family business, getting into coaching as well. A promising career in that field.
Well, the brothers all playing quarterback in the Bentley family. And they let Brooks air it out, and a little bit underthrown, but Washington hangs on to the juggling ball. So 1st down for Elliott Washington. Offense and defense for Washington, and a nice play.
Talked about him as one of the top secondary prospects in this class. Doing a nice job of adjusting. And a good concentration as he's able to scoop that ball back up. Doing a nice job early on. It was number 4, Ryan Matulovic, but since then, getting Keon Sears involved. Finn Jones on the touchdown. Elliott Washington.
Well, back to Johnson. He nearly sprung that. And got tripped up by Farouk. Man, he's flying around right now at safety.
They're not afraid to come up, mix it up.
Well, it feels like he's been on every play since halftime. Idris Farouk, the junior again with Power 5 offers. Arkansas is looking at him. Arizona's looking at him. But inside the red zone for Venice on 2nd and 6. And Johnson carving out some space inside the 15. And 3rd down and short for Venice.
It's been tough trying to get yards between those tackles, but good news for an offense. Dashawn Womack going off the field in 3rd down.
Even down 2 scores, Venice sitting on the ball, letting the play clock winds. They don't have to snap it here. And with 5 seconds, they are getting in formation. Let's see if they actually do snap it. They do not. And that's the end of the quarter. So on a night where St. Francis and at times the refs have dominated, we go to the 4th quarter in a 2-score game. St. Francis up 27-11 in rainy Venice, Florida.
baby.
From where we came from, and we're here now. All of the coaches, everybody that pressed me. This is supposed to have come to St. Francis. We're here. We're here. It's just started. I feel like it's just started.
With Sam Green fighting on, committed to USC with Dana down in the field at halftime. And I don't know about you, I could watch Mom's reaction over and over again.
She's right, it is just starting. Still a lot of work to do, but a promising start. And he's got his tight end.
Oh man, Finn Jones drops a touchdown on a 3rd and 4 play to start the 4th that would have made it a potential 1-score game. Well, would have needed the 2-point conversion, of course, but a big drop there for Venice. Trying to come back. They were down 27-3, middle of that 3rd quarter.
Well, able to hook up with him in the 3rd quarter for a score. Able to slip him out there again, but unable to complete it.
So they will bring the kick team on. Kirill Kotov hit from 35 in the 1st quarter. We'll try from 32 here. Bentley to hold it, and Kotov gets off one just outside the upright. So Venice sends out the kick team, and Dashawn Womack in on the rush on the block team.
Dashawn Womack coming from the left side. You see him get a piece of it, change the course of that football, and it goes wide. You love to see that effort there from the LSU commit, breaking through, getting his hand up, impacting the play.
So an empty drive that started with good field position for Venice, and it's Womack that makes another big play. All those guys up front that we've talked about making big plays, they're the highly touted group typically for St. Francis. Back to Williams, and he's undercut. But that's maybe where the best tradition is as far as positionally sending guys to the next level at St. Francis. It's D-line.
Listen, this one we talked about top 6 DNs in this, that are in the country. 2 of them in this game. Womack, one of them. That was a special teams play. They're up. Great effort. You love to see that. What is he doing in his special teams? Sometimes star players don't even want to play special teams. He's doing an outstanding job. Was able to get in there and get the block, and love to see the little things.
Messay Hailemariam, as head coach, said he's basically a combination of all the really good guys they've sent out. Fast, twitchy, strong, all the above for Dashawn Womack. And Nick Harris with his head down, out across the 30. It's the spot he needed for the first down. Well, you think about the guys that St. Francis have up at that next level, and we're going to be talking about Dashawn Womack on Saturdays making plays like that at LSU.
And one of those players he compared him to was Derek Moore. The ESPN 300 player, was part of that St. Francis defense a year ago, now at Michigan. When I had seen St. Francis play, Dashawn Womack was usually the player flashing when you were watching Derek Moore, and now he's a guy who's taking on the leadership role amongst that defensive front, along with the pick commit, Isaiah Neal.
Well, you talked about Derek Moore. The other guy that came out of St. Francis from Michigan is Yabi Anoma. A little bit more circuitous route for Anoma to get there, but those are the 2 guys at Michigan right now that he said he's kind of a blend of. Dashawn Womack.
Yeah, Yabi Anoma can kind of get everything straightened out. He's by far the most talented of that group. He is just an absolute tremendous athlete. He can stay focused and maximize that ability. Watch out, he'll be a big impact player at the college football level.
Williams ahead behind the sticks, gets him back on schedule. So Womack will join that group. You got Chris Braswell, who came off the defensive line from St. Francis at Alabama. Damon Clowney's at Ole Miss, playing in the SEC from St. Francis. It's no surprise that all 8 guys on the 2 deep on tonight's game for St. Francis on the D-line are going FBS. 3rd and 3 here, back to Williams, and he ducks that head for a first down. Needed 3, got 5 before Eli Seed stopped him.
Yeah, Williams driving those legs, powering forward for the first down. Coach talked about his power as a runner and showing it there.
Penn State, Louisville targets to get DeJuan Williams. He's also got Maryland and Virginia Tech out on the East Coast after him. He's not a guy that is like Woodby or Womack, who we've seen, talking to the camera tonight and be really expressive. He's more of the quiet, shy kid that is more businesslike until he breaks out into the field and puts his head down and bullies you.
Yeah, there's more than one way to do it. Nothing wrong with the business-like approach either.
Well, this jet sweep play went for a touchdown last time, and Woodby's roped down. Colin Atkins got to him. Your friend from earlier, who you apparently outbenched by 1 pound.
Well, listen, one thing that Colin Atkins has showed tonight is his hand strength. When he gets a piece of cloth, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, that was handful of jersey and down right away. Atkins, a returning starter from last year's state championship team, trying to get a stop on Williams and St. Francis on 3rd and 4. Already over 100 yards, not in his hands here, and to him out of the backfield, and he's blown up. Sage Utsi up from safety, laying the wood for Venice.
Coach called him the big hitter in that secondary, and well read by Utsi. Tried to slip out the back. He quickly closes and separates him from the football. This defense, which is really very stout, difficult in that first half, really making St. Francis earn everything they got in that first half, and starting to see them resurface here in this fourth quarter.
Remember, that's the unit that Venice said could hang in the paint with St. Francis's offense. They have at times. Well, the officials will blow this dead before the 4th and 4 play. Chase Wilkins is out to punt for St. Francis, but now the punt unit's coming off the field. No flags are down, right? There is a flag down.
Illegal substitution on the defense, 5-yard penalty, get a first down.
Okay, there was a flag down.
Why would you ask tonight if there's a flag?
That's a good point.
I would just assume yes.
Maybe I've grown numb to seeing them. I didn't see it. You didn't see it, right?
Play it safe and go, yes, there's a flag. When in doubt. But a rare, costly penalty against Venice, giving that St. Francis offense a first.
So the offense back out, a stiff arm for the running back Robinson, and he's running in circles around that Venice defense, and he's dumped after a first down. By your non-answer of did you see a flag, I'll assume you didn't see it either. So thanks for helping me out.
Durrell, he's showing the change of direction on that run.
They give it to Robinson again. He had a hole opening up for him before Tyler Lewis makes the play.
St. Francis having an impact on the world of recruiting here in the last 48 hours. Saw Samuel Green at halftime committing to USC, and Durrell Robinson jumping on board with Boston College. High 3-star, their second highly rated running back in that class.
Well, we were talking in our meetings this week that those two could maybe break the commitment internet this week. I wonder if mom's reaction will play a part in that. Great stuff at halftime from Sam Green's mom. Look into the flat, and over the top, it's complete for Van Buren, and he's got Ryan Manning, his favorite target, inside the 5 for a first down.
Nice job here by Van Buren, showing good patience. He's going to look out to his left. You see, he's looking for the swing pass. It's not there. He goes through his reads. He finds Manning on the post, puts it right on him. Really nice job. We talked so much about Michael Van Buren right at the top. Potentially a 5-star player. That ground game has really kind of made him not overly necessary in this game, but they're making a nice play, going through his reads and delivering the strike.
Back to his big running backs, and Robinson is in for another score. Touchdown, St. Francis.
Venice has not been penalized much tonight, but there was a costly one. There were a chance to get that offense off the field. The penalty gave St. Francis a new set of downs, and they turned into points.
From 4th and 4 and the punt unit out to trying to go down midway 4th quarter and get it to a 1-score game. St. Francis turns it around. It's a big 10-point swing, too, because of the blocked field goal that started this drive with Womack. St. Francis shuffling a couple guys in at the ends, and McDonald right through the pipes. Durrell Robinson, he is the running back with the personality. He's the running back with 2 touchdowns, too. St. Francis rolling up by 3 scores midway through the 4th quarter in Venice.
The 2022 Geico ESPN High School Football Showcase, presented by Axe, is brought to you by Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. And Axe, smell irresistible all day.
Connor Onion, Craig Halbert back with you. Durrell Robinson, 2nd touchdown of the night, puts St. Francis back up by 3 scores with inside 7 to go in the 4th. And it's a St. Francis team that's dealt with some tragedy, Dana.
That's exactly right, Connor. And you see the big plays that are being made out on the field, but no young person should have to go through what this team has gone through. They've been so resilient in the way that they've handled such tragedies. In April of 2021, they lost a teammate, Aaron Wilson, to brain cancer. And then this past February, they lost Lamar Patterson. You see the number 1 on their helmet. That's what they wear to honor him. He was tragically killed in a car crash, and this team has rallied around those tragedies, and they've turned a really bad thing into a positive. You can see it in their demeanor. We had time to spend with them at practice. They've got a positive attitude, and it's resiliency is the word that I think of, and Coach Messay has done such a good job leading from front. He shows grace to his players, and it's just a culture that I would want to be a part of if I'm a player, and I'm really impressed with the way that they've handled it.
You think about the tragedy, not once, but twice. And, you know, guys that have transferred in that had such a quick bond with Lamar Patterson, and to lose him so quickly. You know, just a small token that they have is that number 1 that, you know, Michael Van Buren got to wear it week 1. Ryan Manning got to wear it last week. But Messay Hailemariam said that he didn't want anybody to wear it on national TV today. He wanted that to stand alone, and this to be a moment to remember Lamar.
Yeah, nobody wearing number 1, nobody wearing number 4 either. That was Aaron Wilson's number, who Dana had mentioned that they lost a year ago to cancer. And you know what was really interesting, that last year they rotated the number 4 to a special player who earned it every week, and the last player to wear it last year was Lamar Patterson, which is eerie a little bit.
A swing out to Keon Sears. And he gets a couple for Venice on 1st down.
And, you know, listen, one of the things, too, is we see so many great high school players come out. We're talking about the future of college football, too. But high school coaches, a lot they got to deal with. Really such an important role. And Messay Hailemariam, one of them, just doing an outstanding job. And we talk about what happens on the field, but so many head coaches got to be leaders, parent figures off the field as well. And we see an example of that at St. Francis and what he's done.
Well, 1st down, Alvin Johnson. Dana?
You were talking about Coach Messay. The phrase that he used a lot on our coach's call when we were at practice spending time with them is his goal for his players are to become protectors and providers. And I think he understands that the bigger message, it's more than just on the lines of football. He's doing a good job with these young men.
Very, very heavy stuff. Great reporting, Dana. Thank you very much. We go to break.
What makes for a great story? A great story has magic, power, and every once in a while, it has miracles. It needs an opening that sucks you in, and a mind-blowing ending that has you hanging on every snap. That's what makes for a great story. And as luck would have it, that's our story.
A 3-score lead for St. Francis and Messay Hailemariam. Reminder coming up on Saturday. New number 1 in the polls is Georgia. They get the Gamecocks in South Carolina. Mississippi State, LSU at 6 Eastern. And top 25 football in College Station. Bounce back effort for Texas A&M after the loss. They get number 13 Miami. 9 Eastern. All games available on the ESPN app. And Connor Onion, Craig Haubert, Dana Boyle with you just off the Gulf in Western Florida. And Venice trying to climb back, but getting late midway through the 4th quarter. And it begins with Alvin Johnson out of that timeout, grinding his way for 5 yards.
2nd and 7.
There has not been much room for Johnson tonight, and another play where he gets popped right at the line of scrimmage by Rashall Vaughns. Under 40 yards for Johnson tonight. He's got about 2 yards a carry. There is nothing there against that front.
Yeah, Vaughns was in the backfield in a hurry. Quickly got downhill.
So they pass on 3rd down, and that's complete out to the 40 for Ryan Matulovic. He gets swung down, but does have a 1st down. Well, you could say there hasn't been much through the air. There hasn't been much on the ground, though, either. There hasn't been much in general offensively against the St. Francis defense. And Alvin Johnson going right back into the teeth of it, and there is a flag down. Is Woodby calling the plays over there, by the way, on defense?
Out there.
All right, march it forward a little bit more after the Alvin Johnson run.
I got to feel like St. Francis is close to hitting for the cycle and penalties. And I got just about every single one tonight.
How many different penalties could they get? Yeah, you're right, because that's 16. Yeah. So they could be close. Well, Blake Woodby with the headset on. Let's see what he dials up on 1st and 10. Well, another run stuff of Johnson. And Darius Jones coming up for middle linebacker. So Woodby told you he's going to be the #1 corner. Made a case for being the #1 wide receiver with a 63-yard touchdown. Now he wants to coach, too.
Yep.
Oh, now the headset's been handed over.
Michael Van Buren did a little, almost put that USC hat on, rethought it.
Throw to the end zone, juggling catch for a touchdown. Ryan Matulovic on the back shoulder for 6 for Venice. He beats Mekhi Butler and Venice back on the board.
Matulovic has been one of the key targets tonight. Nice job laying that in there. Bobbling the football, gets the knee down, controls it. Really nice job there. Good concentration. Up. Doesn't find a handle. Down. Nice play there by the sophomore receiver.
So they'll go for 2. Bentley looks left, gets flushed out, and throws a low ball that's incomplete. Cato Glover tried to cup it. So Ryan Matulovic with a touchdown, the 2nd passing touchdown for Bentley. So St. Francis up a couple of scores and trying to close out their 3rd win. Team talking about a national championship this year. That's how they're branding a lot of their social media stuff. Got a documentary that came out this week. Talked about national championship or bust, and all 3 road games all across the country. And they're 445 away from getting to 3-0. Venice go for the onside kick here with Kotov out there. And it's right into the lap of St. Francis. All right, we've got a lot of picks we could have gone with. And our player of the game is Durrell Robinson, brought to you by Geico.
Yeah, that backfield, a lot of production tonight. Durrell Robinson, you see 15 rushes, over 100 yards, 2 TDs. He really shown great footwork, eluding defenders, some tough runs and finishes. DeJuan Williams, number 24 as well, with a really big night, over 100 yards. We kind of were debating. It was a close call. Right down to the final. Well, listen, I think got to give the edge to Durrell Robinson.
And so you had the idea. I'm not going to steal your thunder like you steal mine sometimes. It's that play goes for 10. But I'll credit you with this idea. You said that it would kind of be like the turkey leg that they give out on Thanksgiving with John Madden. You give it to multiple guys. I think we got to get you down with a gecko.
Yes.
Hand out a fake gecko to the Geico player of the game.
And also, I want some examples of when that was still your thunder. I feel like that was just threw out that accusation with nothing behind it.
Threw out a million baseball analogies tonight. You don't know baseball. You admitted that week 0.
Well, I just admitted I don't like it. It didn't mean I don't know it.
I know.
Talking to your guy who was at Game 7 of the World Series when the Mets beat the Red Sox. I just outgrew it.
And I had to tell you what year that was when you were there. 1986.
I think I was somewhere in that documentary.
Oh yeah, you and Ron Darling?
Yeah, I was somewhere in the stands there.
So you got Eddie Jordan in at quarterback. Mekhi Workman usually wears number 16. He's out tonight, so Jordan wearing his number. And he gives it in a first down. Dana, hello.
There's a lot of hostility up there in the booth. Are you sure you guys don't need me to come up there and break it up?
You're gonna throw a flag on us?
We're ganging up on Craig. Now I know what to get you guys for Christmas. I'm gonna put yellow flags in your stockings. But we were talking about Durrell Robinson, the Geico player of the game. We got some upset St. Francis players on the field. They think that they should have been that player of the game. But if you believe it or not, Durrell Robinson, he didn't have any offers going into his junior year, and he's had a breakout game. He's committed. He's going to Boston College to play for Jeff Hafley, and what an awesome kid. I've had a chance to spend time with him on the sidelines. Just love for the game that's infectious.
Dana, who's calling plays down there, by the way? Do you have any insight on that?
It's our new best friend. It's Woodby. He's got the headset on. He's got the play card. He's called plays for the defense, he told me. He said I could jump in on the headset. I might do it.
What are you drawing up if you get to call a play?
Come on now. Don't put me on the spot like that. I would be a receiver.
Don't put you on the spot like that after you just broke up this argument in the booth.
Someone's got to.
What did you think you're getting?
Just dial up pressure, Dana.
I think you should dial up some bump and run coverage so we can talk about our drive to dinner last night.
That's what I should have said. I could have put you on blast.
You could have.
Note to self, don't drive with Connor, whoever's listening. Don't drive with him. It's not a good idea.
Florida drivers are very sweet. I want to throw that out there. Very, very sweet. Maybe would be able to drop some bump and run on 3rd down. No, he won't because his offense is on the field. He doesn't call the plays for the other team. Here's Burke, the 4th running back, and he gets clipped by Washington. Right at the marker.
We talked about how that MVP can go a few ways. Listen, you got to give an honorary shout out to the boys up front too. No running back has a big night without their offensive line doing their job. Over 400 yards on the ground for the Panthers. That offensive line certainly deserves a hat tip as well. I get to tell Blake though, you either got to be a coach or you got to be a player. Like, you got to pick one lane.
Can't be the old days.
No, it's not like baseball where you can be a player manager.
Well, they all pretend like they are. They're in jerseys. You never know when Tony La Russa is going to run back out into the field and be a player. So a timeout before 4th down. 2nd timeout for St. Francis. It's a point in the game where you get to show off a lot of your depth, and it's depth that not a lot of high school programs have. You got Eddie Jordan, a freshman that doesn't have a lot of comfort in this offense yet, but he's another guy that's trained with the same quarterback coach as the starter, Michael Van Buren, and Caleb Williams, who's at USC.
Listen, we haven't seen him much tonight. He hasn't been needed. Over 400 yards on the ground, your quarterback really doesn't need to be a factor. We did see, though, in here in the 4th quarter, did a nice job going through his progressions, making a play down to Manning that ultimately Durrell Robinson pushed in for a touchdown. But I'll tell you what, I'm still, the more I watched, the more I evaluated right off the top, we talked about Michael Van Buren and the comparisons to Bryce Young, the Alabama quarterback. And we talked to Michael yesterday at walkthrough. We said, what quarterbacks are coaches comparing you to? He said Russell Wilson, Bryce Young. So he's hearing it from college coaches as well. And I really think that in that 2024 class, he is one of the most promising, one of the most exciting players to keep an eye on. He took a part in the Under Armour Future 50 event this summer with all 2023 quarterbacks, including the #1 player, Malachi Nelson. And he walked away with one of the MVPs on one of those days. So even with some of the top 23 quarterbacks, he proved that he certainly belonged.
It's his backup, Eddie Jordan, in on 4th and 1. And he hands it off to Burke again, who sheds a couple of tackles and gets a first down. So the baby of the running back room, Jalen Burke, their 4th back, getting a chance to go on the big stage tonight. They think he'll be their 3-down back, their every down back eventually. Right now he's more of a powerful guy that can put in on situations like that. 4th and 1.
Get a little experience and reps here.
17-yard line.
A minute and a half to go. St. Francis fell behind by 3 points and then stormed to a bunch of unanswered points tonight. And Jordan getting a chance to throw it to the end zone, and just behind his receiver, incomplete. And Kyrie Benton reached back to his shoulder and got pummeled in the back of the end zone. So first look at Jordan. Getting to throw. Remember, Jordan is the backup for Van Buren. He got to play week 1. Came in, threw a nice ball against East St. Louis in a 1-score game.
Yeah, they've got some really exciting young talent. Hard to get on the field, especially in that backfield with Michael Van Buren, a quarterback, and Durrell Robinson, Dewan Williams leading the way. But here an opportunity late in this game just to get some reps, get some experience, and just showing the depth on this roster. As you meant, we showed a little bit earlier, a lot of traveling ahead. They're turning into the road warriors.
A trip to Hawaii coming up at the end of the month. Here's Burke. Hey, think about what this program, St. Francis, has had to do to make that possible, how they're traveling more than any FCS team this year, more than 50 FBS teams. That piles up the bill pretty quickly. But Messay Hailemariam, he said he spent a month in the offseason calling donors for 3 hours a day just to make it possible for them to travel. Raised $270,000 to make the season a thing.
You know, they're not in a league there in the Maryland area. They've got to play an independent national schedule. That means kind of could be tough putting together a schedule, and they're willing to go anywhere and play anyone. And all that traveling and these tough battles helps to make a lot of these players college ready.
We got a timeout for Venice with 22 seconds left. Greg, here's a look at that schedule that you were talking about. It's pretty dense with miles, and they've already been to Canton, Ohio. They played at the Hall of Fame Stadium their first week and beat East St. Louis, went down to Texas, won 47-7, and then on the road 1,000 miles tonight, getting to 3-0.
Yeah, they'll be back in Texas. You mentioned that trip out to Hawaii. Connecticut's that's practically a home game.
Yeah.
That's as close as you're going to get to a home game.
Well, they're getting ready to build a stadium, so they are, as they hope to get more home games. Messay Hailemariam painted the picture for us. He said that until that happens, I'm definitely going to be St. Francis's head coach. Maybe at that point, I'll sit down with a drink in my hand at the 50-yard line. We can celebrate what we've done, and I'll think about some other things. But that is the big why right now for him outside of sending kids to college.
And I'll tell you what, it's stressful. Traveling with a team as a head coach, a high school team, and all those young men on flights and around the country. That's not easy.
Well, let Jordan throw again. It's incomplete. And a turnover on downs. So Isaiah Neal, the intended target. And that'll give it back to Venice to run a play or two before the dance party is in full effect. I think it already is, though. Players turn coaches, coaches turn cheerleaders at the end of this game for St. Francis.
Win it all. Padding out their resume, making plays on the field, making calls, dancing. It's called a well-rounded player.
Getting to 3-0. Venice off their state championship. They'll drop to 1-2. No question they have big-time players on defense. We saw early in this game especially, Damon Wilson take over there for a stretch.
Yeah, he's going to be a prospect that recruiting fans are going to keep an eye on. One of the top 6 defensive ends in the nation, currently uncommitted. Mentioned official visit to Alabama, one to Ohio State already. See what else he does over the fall with some of those remaining officials.
Real quick on Wilson before we got to get out of here. You know more about the classes that are stacking up in his class. He's uncommitted. Where do you think it fits most for him to end up?
I think Ohio State is a team right now that many feel may be the team to beat. But again, he's got a few official visits left to see. Well, he'll certainly be an interesting recruitment to follow.
Damon Wilson and Venice do lose here tonight on national TV. St. Francis gets to 3-0, making the 1,000-mile trip. Well, thanks to our great crew back in the truck, Andy Bach, our producer, Kevin Shank, our director, Dana Boyle down in the field, Craig Hubbard up here, Connor Onion saying so long from Venice, Florida, where it was a big night for the big stars for St. Francis. They win it. They double up Venice, get to 3-0 on the season. Have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow night in Vegas on ESPNU.